Right, welcome to iFollow. Welcome to coverage of Port Vale against Wrexham in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. Final game of the group. Both teams are through. There's not much riding on it, and the team suggests that. Wrexham have made 11 changes, Port Vale have made 10. But, having said that, there is home advantage for the team that wins the group. If Wrexham draw this game, hang on a second, no. 6 points against 5 points, so if we draw it and they win on penalties, because it's penalties if we draw in this, then they'll be level with us. Oh, let's just win it. Stuff it. Let's either win it or lose it. That's too complex for my good. Wrexham totally rotated, like we said. Callum Burton is in goal. The centre-backs, Lewis Brunt, Will Boyle and Aaron James. On the wings, Luke Bolton will be on the right, Jacob Mendy on the left. The midfield's interesting. We've got debutant Matty James, debutant Josh Adam, and then Anthony Ford, who's played, 2 games this season? And up front, Mo Farl and Jon Daddy Bodvarsson. On the bench, it's a mixture of youth and experience. Mark Howard, Max Cleworth, Seb Revan, Callum Edwards, Harry Ashfield, Ollie Rathbone and Paul Mullen. Well, Phil Parkinson said he'd make 11 changes. It's the right thing to do as well, quite frankly. And I guess he'll bank that our reserve team, which is very strong, will have enough in them to get the better of a League Two, albeit a very good League Two times, back up 11.
Yeah, definitely, Mark. And, like you say, it's one of those games that you might find it a bit more difficult to get up for when there's a lot less on the line than there usually is, and both teams in similar position in terms of their league status at the moment, both really doing well in their league competitions. So both will be thinking tonight, rest players and try not to pick up any injuries that could affect their current situations domestically. But we've said it every time so far we played in this competition. It's a great opportunity for those not quite touching that starting 11 or even that starting squad to make a difference and to try and make an impact and to try and show Phil Parkinson and the rest of the staff that they're up to it and show them that they're at that level. And to just build fitness as well is so important coming into a part of the season where games start building up.
There's not a lot to get excited about for this game, right?
You went to my mascot story.
Yeah. But what I have done since I've got in here is I've seen that Matty James is playing and Jon Daddy Bodvarsson is playing as well. So 2 key improvements to the squad that have just come in to start the game in a competitive game. I am just so looking forward to seeing Matty James because I've heard a lot about him, seen him play at higher levels. He's obviously not made a start this season, but he gets on the ball and he dictates, and he was doing that in the Championship last year for 40 odd games. So hopefully if we can see what he's like today, I'm just buzzing to have a see on what he's got.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, James started even over 30 games in each of the last 3 seasons in the Championship. Surprising he wasn't taken up. And, he's got a chance to show us what he can do. Rex teams are out. Port Vale in all white. And Wrexham doing a sort of 1970s Man United tribute. Red shirts, black shorts and black socks. There's a fab reason for this. And it is that you have to have all the arm patches to match the competition. Now, we've played all our games in red so far, and so we really pushed hard to say we want to play this game in red, because otherwise we're going to have to buy an extra 30 shirts of another colour from the suppliers and stick all the badges on. And, the team doesn't get confirmed and the team's rotated, so it could be more than 30. So it's purely a financial thing that Wrexham have said, look, we don't want to wear all black, thank you very much.
Well, I'm just looking, and Max Cleworth is sprinting on and been in the lineup, and he's not on the team sheet to be in the starting 11. So it looks like Will Boyle, to me, has not come out with the rest of the group.
Well, there's a little conversation on the edge of the centre circle with some of the experienced players. And is that Phil Parks on the pitch?
It is, yeah.
Because Boyle was captain.
He's talking to Bodvarsson.
So Max is going to step up and be skipper. I think that might have been what that conversation was about then, in that case.
I would have thought it's been, that is a really late change to something that goes, so Phil Parkinson will be going, right, you're picking up at set pieces, all that information that they've set out before they've got changed and gone out to warm up. That information now needs to change slightly because it might be a different marker for Max, it might be a different marker for somebody else who's going back. So Parkinson was on the pitch, he's still talking to Jacob Mendy now, just down on this left-hand side. But not ideal for Will Boyle, just come back from a little injury, he wasn't in the squad on the weekend, and he did a few laps. We saw him early on just getting a bit of running in, but that's really sad if he's picked up something in the warm-up.
That's a massive shame for him, isn't it? I'm just looking at Wrexham's social media, and they haven't picked up on that yet. In fact, their penultimate one was Will Boyle warming up, our captain this evening.
Maybe they blinded him with a flash of the camera.
Well, I didn't want to say. So here we go then. A decent amount of Wrexham fans have turned up. I mean, it looks like a good 300 so. I've hard to judge, but it's a good amount in a very small crowd. It's only two sides open here today. Understandably, this is not a competition that gets a crowds, and it's a dead rubber as Port Vale kick off going towards Wrexham's fans. Long clearance by Ben Amos, experienced keeper. Played for United, Man United. England under 21s as well. And the ball drops on the flank. Port Vale happy to just move it around. They are doing very well in League Two. They're top of the table. And they've beaten a couple of their promotion rivals away from home recently. The ball's fed down the left-hand side neatly. And Port Vale have a chance maybe to feed it into the box. It's worked wide, and good work that. On the right-hand side by Bolton, who drives it clear looking for Fal, but he's beaten to it easily by Deborah. Deborah, the only player from Saturday's side that lost at Gillingham who is playing today. The ball goes back to Burton under the bar. Hits it long. Botherson's not going to get to that. It's worked wide. Bolton can't get to it either. But Matty James feeds over the top. He only picks it in Nathan Smith. And that's a lovely little turn in midfield by Josh Adam, his first involvement in the first team. Wrexham swing the ball in, and it comes out to the flank once more. Mendy, left-hand side, looking for a cross, digs it in and puts it over the bar. Good start by Wrexham, front foot.
Yeah, a couple of second balls. Centre midfielders, a lovely little turn by Josh Adams in central midfield. Lets it go across his body, uses his body to roll the player, and then just feeds a nice cross into Mendy. Mendy finds that gap between centre halves and goalkeeper, but really good defending to get a toe on it and clear it out.
Yeah, great first involvement in the first team for Adam on his debut. Really neat touch that. As for the ball forwards, Wrexham win the header, and Bothersson tries to help run for Fal. Doesn't quite stick for him. He's a bit unlucky there. Doesn't quite in his reach. The ball's worked over to the right-hand side. And Port Vale will knock it long once more. Well won by Cleworth, the surprise centre-back, in the sense that he shouldn't have been playing today. He was on the bench. They forgot his shirt as well. That's my other bit of inside information. They forgot Cleworth's shirt, so it's a good... And somebody who hadn't left yet had to grab it and bring it along. So good job they did, as it turns out. Vale then with the throw-in, down the line towards the halfway line, headed away firmly by Brunt. It comes back to him again, and he nods it down. Lovely touch by Matty James. It's found Mendy. Mendy cutting inside. Wrexham dominating the early possession. In the end, Aaron James goes back to his keeper. Burton goes long, right-footed. Wrexham fans making noise. Foul challenging. Forces a false header, but it's cleared quickly by Baker Boyete. And goes back in the end to Burton once more. Hits it over the top, looking for Fal. And again, this time Smith's experience is crucial as he just ducks under it, and then he provokes Fal, who shoves him. Smith goes to the ground. I don't think this is the sort of thing the ref's going to take too much action over, but Smith just getting under Fal's skin.
Well, if you have a look at it on the replay, they're like hugging each other, and Mo Fal, bit of a dig to push him off. I think that Nathan Smith goes down a bit easily, but still, it's a good job it wasn't up above the net, because that could have got him into a bit of trouble.
Yeah, see Nathan Smith cute, able to provoke foul. Here he is now spreading the ball across to the right-hand side. Neither player was booked. It's Deborah looking to work the ball inside, back to the keeper. And Amos rolls it short. On the left-hand side, the back three, Sam Hart. There's a poor touch and foul nearly natches onto that. Now it's Smith in the middle of the defence again. Yeah, Port Vale doing well. And although this is a youthful second string team, a lot of them have had first team experience this season. That's a lovely little flick inside by Baker Bonete. And it's switched across the other side. Sharrock, the left-sided wing back, has got an overlap and uses this. Bolton lunges in. And the cross comes in, taken by Burton comfortably enough under the bar. So, first real foray for Port Vale. I'm glad to see Aaron James continuing to get games. I like him. I think he's a couple of years ago in National League. I think he'd have had 50-odd games under his belt by now.
Yeah, I totally agree, Mark. I think, just in games like this, like we speak about, getting the minutes in the tank, just getting around the first team squad and understanding what that's all about. And especially, being next to someone like Max Cleworth, who's been in that exact same position as him a few years ago and has got to this level. That's so important for him and something he can really utilise going forward.
Absolutely. Wrexham have an attacking throw-in, and it's laid off to Bolton, who with that burst of acceleration gets forward. And there's another throw by the corner flag. Yeah, Botherson did well a moment ago to force the throw-in, really, chasing a lost cause, but it made the keeper come out of the box, so he had to kick it away. Bolton gets the ball back from the throw and drives the ball in and wins a corner. He and Anthony Ford combining on the right. Great to see Ford as well, frankly. I really like Ford, and he's unlucky to not be registered, so good to see him getting the start. He's never let us down, whatever position we put him in. So Ford with an away swing get. Botherson's on the near post. Far lurks on the edge of the 6-yard box on the far. As Ford signals, stands it to the near post, and it's headed behind. Is it another corner? Yes, it is. Looked a corner to me. Port Vale aren't happy. So Ford again. Port Vale with everyone back defending. Wrexham have got Adam, Bolton and Mendy 30 yards out. Ball swept in nicely. Fall gets a header to it. Held by the keeper. He had to get over his man, didn't he, to make the header, and didn't get leverage.
Yeah, some really good movement in there, though. From back to front, we know that the Wrexham like that one. And it's Mo Farley just checks out the back post to then come across. He gets the run on his man. It just, as the ball just dips, I think the player just up against him just does enough to nudge him out of the way. He can't get any real power on it, and it just bounces straight up into the keeper's chest. Whereas you're sort of hoping just to glance at him to one of the either side of the corners.
But Wrexham are considering to keep Port Vale in their own half. It's a throw into them by the corner flag now. And I think Wrexham will be happy with the way we started. Long, very long throw. Lewis Brunt gets up, puts it out for another throw in. About 25 yards short of the halfway line. Deborah hurls it back to his keeper, Amos. Yeah, the mascot is like a dog. He stayed right in front of us the whole game. Look at him, he's creeping up on the ball boy now. Well, Stewart. But he pointed at me, I swear, from the side of the pitch, and then made a threatening gesture. I don't like it. I'm scared. Mendy does well to cover a long ball over the top. Volleying is out of play, throw into Port Vale. 30 yards out. It's right back. Benicio, that's what they call him. That's his first name, though. He's got a proper tongue twister of a name. Mendy gets a foot in. Nice early pass forwards by Adam. Gets a return ball by Fowler as he was fouled up to Bothersson. That's nice play. Bothersson, good feet to hold on to it on the left and then check back onto his right. That's good work. Wrexham had to go back into their own half in the end, but it was a snappy piece of play. Here's Cleworth now, deep in his own half. Long ball over the top, down the right flank by Aaron James. A testing one, and Bothersson likes to chase this sort of thing. He's held off well by Hart in the end. And the ball's cleared. Wrexham thought they should have had a free kick there, I think. Brunstow intercepts. We're on top in terms of possession, no question about that. Cleworth to Aaron James. Wrexham just moving it around at the back, trying to draw Port Vale in.
Yeah, the change in Cleworth has obviously changed Brunt as well. Brunt was obviously going to be the middle one with Will Boyle to his left, but that slight change bringing Cleworth in, it moves Brunt out onto his left. He played there for Mansfield last season, so he'll be comfortable on that side. It's fine, but your preparation in your mind is that you're playing centrally and that's how you're going to do your job. Just those little changes can be a little bit awkward at times.
Ooh, long ball at the top of Bolton's offside. But yeah, to make a change so late in the game, you've got to be adaptable, haven't you, to deal with that. Bolton has stayed down after chasing that. He was offside. I don't like to look at that. I mean, he's sitting up, but Hart, the centre-back, called the physio on before the ref did. So as if he's recognised something's gone for poor Bolton, who's had an injury-riddled time with Wrexham. Be a real blow if he's actually picked something up here.
Yeah, like you say, Mark, not long come back from an injury that's kept him out of that squad from the first few weeks of the season, so it'd be a real shame for him to sort of re-pick that up again, because like you say, I think he's a player who brought in last season hasn't really hit that run of games where he can make that real impact, and he's definitely a player that can do that. I think we saw that a number of times when he was at Salford. Really promising, relatively young talent who could really make a difference. I think he's quite a different sort of player than what we've got currently in this team. So a real shame to see him limping off at the moment. I'm not sure whether he'll be able to carry on.
It's exactly what you don't want in a game like this. Your game that doesn't mean a great deal, but we've already had 2 lads now come out for injury, and you really want to get through 90 minutes with nobody. The result is immaterial a little bit, really. That's a bit weird, because the refs just played on, and all our players are getting drinks.
Well, Port Vale are pouring forwards as a result of this. Not pouring drinks. Ball swept in, poor ball end up way over Hackford's head. Mendy gets it clear. Wrexham down to 10 men at the moment. And Port Vale looking to pressure, but Wrexham have managed to get players behind the ball now. Adam, bit of an impetuous challenge, and Benicio goes past him. Brunt sticks to his man and forces an error, and Wrexham have a throw in. Revan went in to strip off into the dugout. Bolton is being slowly walked around the pitch. He's not waiting for permission to come on. There was no one near him. He just ran, and Revan is now going to come on. He was just running down the flank. He got, looking at the replay, possibly an incorrect offside flag, actually, looking at it.
Right.
But then, yeah, he just pulled up.
Well, Revan is another one. It's a strange one in the last week or so, isn't it? Starts at Harrogate, comes out completely of the 18 on the weekend. So he must be thinking, well, it's all my fault that we got out at the FA Cup because I'm the one that's been made a bit of a scapegoat. I can't even get in the Bristol Street Motors team to start at the moment. But now I'm on within 10 minutes. Get your head around that.
Yeah, exactly. Always expect the unexpected at
Correct.
Wrexham.
Always be ready.
Yeah. Port Vale fans were claiming Mendy had made a foul throw then. They may have had a point. Aaron
Correct.
Jones plays the same sort of ball. Ball drops loose in midfield. And Ford pokes it back to Max Cleworth. Wrexham 13 minutes already into this game. It feels like it's just kicked off. Still no score. Wrexham looking more comfortable. Falls wrestling away with Deborah, who manages to get a foot to it. And in midfield, it's won back by Revan. Aaron James feeding it into his feet. Revan does well to turn away from trouble and feed the ball back into his own half. And Wrexham look to build once more. Combative play by Bothersson. The pass was short, but he's made some of with a great tackle going to ground to challenge Hart. Now then, can Wrexham get the ball in the box? Bothersson pulls it across, foul, hits it, and puts it off target because the defender got a deflection on it. Shot from 6 yards out. Wrexham really looking dangerous then. Nice move.
Yeah, a bit of pace. Aaron James stepping in and driving forward. He's able to take the space at pace, and then it's Bodvarsson just down the side. He just slides a nice ball down, Aaron James, into his path. And Mo Farl's ball side of his man just goes to hook it in from that near post. And to be fair, it's a really good block to put it wide.
So another corner. Anthony Ford to take. He signals. Sweeps it in towards the far post. Keeper gets it comfortably. And the referee said the ball's gone out anyway. for curving back in. So it's a goal kick to Port Vale. Yeah, but the headlines at the moment, like Andy said, Will Boyle and Luke Bolton both already suffering injuries. As now here is Hart again on the left-hand side, feeding the ball into midfield. The ball over the top is a tempting one, but Hackford will not get there. Cleworth comfortable turns, clears, headed back in where it came from though, and Hackford does get a touch, can't benefit from it. Throw into Wrexham. You can contact us using the hashtag AskWrexham, ASKWXM, on both X and Blue Sky today. If you want to get in touch and ask us anything or comment on something about the game or anything, anyway, anything you want. I was bullied into getting a Bovril today. I knew it wasn't cold enough. It wasn't cold enough to have a Bovril. My anger knows no bounds. That's a heavy touch for slash Wrexham in now. Lewis Brunt driving through the middle. Got the strikers either side. Finds Fal. He's got a defender tight on him. Fal trying to wriggle his way through. Does well to keep possession, to be fair. It's squared. Lewis Brunt again to Fal. Defender's back now, but Wrexham really looking determined here. Fal tries to sweep it wide. It was a nice idea, but he got it badly wrong and put out of play. Another snappy break by Wrexham, though.
Yeah, it was the pressure from Brunt. Does really well on Tolage, and then he rolls a ball into Mo Fal, just can't get it out of his feet, and then he does get it to feet, and I think just that split second Josh Adam could go round him on the overlap into the space. He doesn't take it, and it goes away the chance, and then Mo Fal goes to play it out wide, gets it completely wrong, looks like a shot in completely the wrong direction, heads into the empty stand.
Oh, it's a good tackle in midfield. As Brunt stepped up to stop a Port Vale breakaway after Revan had been the subject of a really hard but fair tackle. Now Port Vale again going over the top again. Hackford's pace is what they're aiming for. Cleworth nudges him. Not enough, the ref says, for a foul. I'm inclined to agree with the ref, but when you put your hands on a player, I don't know. Hackford's not really complaining much, to be fair. It's the crowd making the noise.
Yeah, I think that's always a bit of a giveaway when the player doesn't really appeal for it, but he does take that risk. Definitely gets two hands up there from what I saw.
It was just as they were about to enter the box. So Hackford fell into the area. Port Vale win it back again rather cheaply. Good foot in to stop them by Matty James. And now Port Vale back in their own half. They've not really had much possession in Wrexham's half, but the pace of Hackford clearly is a decent outlet for them.
Well, 3-4-3 formation, which is slightly different to Wrexham's 3-5-2, if you like. And the three can occupy the three centre halves. And then one of them is dropping in to make the extra player in midfield. So they're starting three up. And then if you do run a channel, you're man for man. So you just have to match it and get in ball side of the ball and the goal. And just hopefully, like Max did there, he did shepherd it out. Maybe used a couple of hands on him. But probably not enough for a free kick. But there were two runs into the channel off that same one ball to give them a chance of getting the ball up in our final third.
Is Amos again then the keeper with the ball at his feet. 18th minute, still 0-0. The ball's played short this time and fed down the left flank. Nice idea as it's flicked on cleverly. This is dangerous now. Sharrock helps it on into the box. Shot comes in just wide. That was a decent effort, that. Ripped in with power. And frustration for Port Vale. They went close there.
Yeah, that's the 3-4-3. Perfect. One of the wingers is inside. One of the midfielders breaks, takes Aaron James out of that pocket, and then he just slides the ball further down the line and into the space for that central striker to make the run. To be fair, cuts back in. He doesn't miss by far, does he? Just flashes across Callum Burton's goal and just past the far post.
Yeah, it was a nice strike, wasn't it? Wrexham now fighting for the ball in midfield. Ford hooks it down the flank. It's well read and prodded partly clear by Hart. Through to Wrexham. The ball bounces in the seats of one of the two empty stands here. It'll be taken by Aaron James. He's got Ford offering himself short. He goes back though to Cleworth on the edge of his area. And he uses Burton. Ball's played over to the left-hand side. Brunt, Wrexham being patient. Matty James just tying things together. Brunt, good pass into midfield and a nice turn to help it on by Ford. Wrexham again just moving it around. Port Vale over to, well, so it's an okay back pass just for a moment. I thought it might not have been by Cleworth, but it was fine. And Wrexham again are building from the back. But Port Vale got 5 players in the Wrexham half just looking to put pressure on, including that front three who are really mobile and eager and chasing everything down. Here's Cleworth now. Up to Aaron James, your space come forwards. Good positive first touch. He drives into the Port Vale half down the right. Fowles pass makes him change direction though. So he has to go back to Cleworth, and in turn has to go back to Burton. Port Vale just showing him into a little pocket of pressure. Burton's going to go long. Foul. Jumps with Smith, flicks that on really well. Butherson brings it down nicely and works it wide. Now then, it's Ford ripping an early ball in. A spectacular clearance by Benicio. He's managed to find a teammate. I think finding the teammate part was fortuitous. And Deborah clears up to the halfway line. Tolai can't get to that, and it's nicely won by Brunt and helped on neatly by Matty James. Foul now on the left-hand side. Squares, edge of the area. Is it a chance for a shot? Still going on the edge of the box. Adam can't get the chance in, but Butherson hits it on the turn, and it's a sharp save low down to his right by the keeper Amos. Wrexham again going close. Yeah,
nice little move from Wrexham. I actually missed a bit of it because the dog mascot was actually in our way. So I can't go through it properly. But just, in the build-up to that, I think we saw a little brief look at the partnership that Vale and Bodvarsson can have. Just today, the first time they've actually started together, obviously. I know they played for, probably about the last 25 of that Harrogate game away. But this might have to be something we look at over the next few weeks with the build-up of games, using that sort of 2 big strikers up top. Especially now we've only got Mullin as that sort of smaller striker with Jack Marriott obviously out for a long period of time.
Well, Josh Adam just couldn't get it out of his feet to get the shot off, so he ends up towing it through to Bodvarsson, who, with his back to goal, just takes a little touch and then hits reverse pass through the legs of the defender, but keeper up to it.
I've never been more proud of myself. Well, like I said, that dog threatened me earlier. He's about 6'9", and then all of a sudden he was in my vision. He got right in my face. It was terrifying, and I hesitated for a moment, and he turned and eyeballed me because he knew he was in my way, and he wanted to be in my way. That was frightening, man. Anyway, Port Vale are moving it around at the back. He's called K9, by the way. He's got K9 on his back. Top pun quality. Cleworth with a firm challenge on Hackford, who maybe at a point that he was fouled. Ref doesn't give it, and Mendy has it. He's forced to go back into his own half and feed it back to Cleworth. Nearly halfway through the first half now. Wrexham the side have been looking more threatening. Cleworth with a big diagonal. Deborah backpedaling does well. Heads it into midfield. And now it'll be tidied up by Benicio. No, it won't. He slips and Mendy nips in to get it first on the goal line. He's being forced to the corner flag. He looks to knock it off his man for a corner. He gets a throw in the end. About 10 yards out. Now he's looking around for movement. Foul offers. It's fed instead into midfield. Adam back to him. Lewis Brunt now in midfield. Matty James wants to pull the strings. Gets onto his right foot. Switches nicely. Aaron James now. As Patton comes across to pressure him. Wrexham with a throw. Ball goes back to Cleworth. Wrexham, let's say, top of the table in this competition. So, yeah, already through, looking to earn a home draw in the next round as Ford is forced inside. Ball fed off again. That's a little bit of space for Botherson to feed down to the right-hand side. Revan hits the goal line, sweeps a deep cross in again, too close to the keeper. We're getting the crosses in. We're not hitting the right areas, I'd argue.
Yeah, just a little bit close to the keeper, that's all. May take a little bit of time. Revan playing on that right-hand side, maybe not his most comfortable crossing with his right. Maybe prefer to be on the left-hand side, but he can certainly do a job.
Yeah, absolutely. As again, Cleworth challenges Hackford from behind. This time, The decision goes Hackford's way. I think that's correct. Pushed him in the back. Free kick. About 30 yards out. Very central.
Yeah, I think he just sort of misjudged that long ball over the top. Ends up letting it bounce, which is always dangerous. And the striker does well to get his body in front and hold him off and draw in that foul.
Randy on Ask Wrexham says, watching on iFollow, the empty stands are giving me deja vu from the COVID days. Giving me deja vu from the 1980s, I promise you. Nobody turned up to watch Wrexham then, except me and me mates. Now then, this is central. It's a fair way out. The Wrexham wall is outside the box. But it is driven towards goal on target with power, but well held. Low it was, he drove it in. Beg your pardon, it was Patton who hit a really powerful strike, but from that distance, Barton's got plenty of time. Burton to see it come over the wall, isn't he?
Yeah, the way he set up to take it, he was always going to shoot. But like you say, Mark, from that angle, it's always going to be difficult to find either side of the back of the net.
Now then, Aaron James with another purposeful run forwards. Good tackle on Bothersson by Hart. Throw into Wrexham, level the edge of the area. Revan's got the ball in his hands. Aaron James making a very lively start, really looking progressive. Was it in short of Ford then? Revan tries to find him again. I think Ford might have been offside, but it's intercepted. Throw to Wrexham. Aaron James's league debut was as a wing back. And he did a decent job. And he's certainly looking comfortable with the ball coming forwards now. Throw in taken. Revan hits the goal line, zigzags, trying to go between two men, drives in the cross and gets under the corner. He's looked bright as well since he's come on, hasn't he? He's really looking to take on his man.
It's amazing, isn't it? Football, like we were talking about, he's out the team, he's out the squad for Saturday. He can't even get in the Bristol Street Motor starting 11 here. But then how things can change so quickly. You get 10 minutes, you could be bright. If your attitude's right and spot on, you can really put yourself back in the mind of the manager with a really good performance of 80 minutes.
Here comes an away swinger then from Ford. Ripped in the edge of 6-yard box. Keeper can't come for that good defensive header ahead of Bothersson. And now it's Ford again, left-footed cross. This time hits a defender. Actually, he did head it away, Deborah. I thought for a moment he'd accidentally flicked her on, but he got enough on it. And Benicio by the corner flag wants to get it away. Drives it into midfield, where it's intercepted well by the retreating Cleworth, but he can't keep possession. Game's very shapeless at the moment as both sides reorganise themselves after the set piece, and Port Vale decide to slow it down at the back. The ball fed over to Benicio on the right. Chris Maleka on Ask Wrexham says, where are all the fans? At home, to be honest. But they're where you are. Yeah, it's a dead game, really. It is for who comes top of the group. I don't think either side's going to be hugely concerned about that. That gives you the home advantage next round, but this is the high priority competition, really.
Yeah, both teams have got other priorities, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Ahead of them, especially the way the Port Vale have started the season. You know, they had an unfortunate 1-0 loss on the weekend, but they've won the previous 5 games, which has springboarded them up to the top of the league, and they're looking really strong. The way that they're set up today looks really organised, especially without the ball, 5 across, 2 in midfield, and then 3 ready to go and press. No space in the midfield to play to, so it's all going to go around them, and then they can just shuffle across to look after it, and then they've looked a bit pace up top, and their movement's really good when in possession. They look like they're threats all over the pitch. So, yeah, I think both teams would rather get promoted ahead of winning the Bristol Street Motors at Wembley, I would say.
Yeah.
But, when you do get to the last 8, the last 16 of this competition, then a potential trip to Wembley starts to become a reality. You maybe take it a little bit more seriously. But at the moment, it's used for minutes, and it's used to try and get people fit and playing for the team that might be used weeks ahead.
Exactly so. Vale there does really well to retain possession, good strength. And then here's another player, Matty James, who could play a key role in our promotion push. Like you say, getting these players minutes, getting them familiar with the system that we play as Brunt pings a hell of a ball across the pitch to Revan. And he comes driving inside, beats his man, works it to Vale, edge of the area, back to goal. He's played it back out wide again. Aaron James now, inside to Matty James. Wrexham moving the ball on nicely on the right-hand side. Ford prods it inside. Vale's found a little bit of space, turns. Back to Matty James. James is unrushed on the ball. He's very calm, doesn't worry if pressure comes onto him. It's fed down a flank, and Revan beats two men brilliantly. Drives in the cross, and a brilliant interception again by Smith to stop Bothersson from knocking it in from 6 yards out. Botherson's now pressuring Smith, who has to hack it clear. Good pressure this by Wrexham. Good intensity. Aaron James. The ball goes through to Matty James in the middle of the pitch now. Cleworth. Aaron James allows Ford to take over. I kind of noticing I've barely mentioned the names of Harper and Lowe, the two Port Vale centre mids. Game's sort of going around the sides of them. Mendy works it inside.
Yeah, Mark, the three strikers, they're protecting those passes into the midfielders, and so those two are just protecting the longer pass into the two strikers. Well, Seb Revan is having a brilliant start, hasn't he?
Well, he's won a free kick on the side of the box there. Took that long ball beautifully, beat his man again, and then was pulled to the ground just as he was about to enter the box. So it's a free kick on the right-hand side, just short of the penalty area, about 4 or 5 yards out, perhaps.
Well, just before that, it burst in between two of the Port Vale defenders. They both come back to double up on him, and he just a little bit of skill to wriggle in between them and then put a really good ball along the 6-yard line, but brilliantly cleared by Smith.
Anthony Ford's on this then. Crowded penalty area for Amos to negotiate if he tries to come for it. Matty James just stepped back a bit to offer himself on the edge of the area. Anthony Ford floats it into the box again. Good header clear by Smith. The ball's prodded towards Matty James, who helps it square. Revan has got Ford outside him, plays a drilled ball in. Nice take as well by Bothersson, who's trying to get away. His shirt's being held all the time through, but he's not bothered about that as he works it wide to Ford. Left-footed cross again by Ford, just too much on it. Benicio's header is put straight back into the box. Brunt nods it down. Bothersson again tries a little turn, and it's an important clearance again by Hart. Throw to Wrexham, level the edge of the area. This isn't the first spell of constant pressure we've had either. As Revan comes across to take the throw. Ford offers short, gets it. Back to Revan, but not quite accurate enough. Smashed away for a throw on the halfway line.
Yeah, well, Benicio didn't need to head that back out into the box. He could have just ducked under it. A bit of a shout from his goalkeeper might have helped. But he heads it back in and Wrexham keep it alive. And Bodvarsson, he tries to little flick to get the volley off really quick. But again, they're right around it, aren't they? Straight away, whenever the ball's bouncing, they're really putting pressure on, not giving Wrexham a minute, especially around that edge of the box.
Yeah, there Smith hurled himself in to deny foul. Ref's given him a free kick because they made contact. That's what was deliberate by foul, to be fair. Jay Bailey on Ask Wrexham says, my memory's terrible. This is the first time Wrexham has paired black shorts and socks with the red shirt. Well, it may well be in recent times. I remember when I was a kid, like in the late 70s, we used to wear this combination quite a bit. So it's not the first time, but it may well be the first time we've done this in a while. Like I said, it's got a financial reason. The ball switched over to the right-hand side. Deborah rolls it into the feet of Talai, who works the ball around the corner, but Matty James with a good covering tackle finds Bothersson, who didn't spot that Fowle was running between the centre-backs. As it is, it's drilled forwards nicely by Josh Adam. Fowle on the left has got Mendy in support, but he's driving on himself into the box. He makes the angle for the shot, but Deborah stuck with him well to block it. It ricochets back out to the left flank. Mendy now taking on his man. He pulls that ball back, and Matty James, 25 yards out, works it wide. Adam now, 3 against 3 in there. Mendy is going to take on Benicio again. He's got Adam in support. Fowle's come a bit, maybe too close to receive. And Wrexham have to go back into midfield again. Again, Matty James just linking up nicely. Neat movements and short passing. Cleworth over to Aaron James on the halfway line. Chips again down the right. Revan beaten to it by Hart. And then a foul given, an over-enthusiastic challenge by Matty James.
Yeah, it's definitely an opportunity on that left-hand side. Jacob Mendy there on the ball. I just think, could Josh Adam maybe try and work to get on that overlap round him, like, you know, someone like we see it so often with Elliot Lee and Andy Cannon do with when they're playing alongside, you know, Ryan Barnett or James McLean. They create that overload so often, and it causes so many teams so many problems.
Well, I thought Mendy could have gone on the inside when Fowle came out. Vale comes out, he drags 2 out, and Mendy's up running for the same ball, but he could check and change his direction, and Vale either takes one defender with him, or he's free to just flick between the two of them, and he's in on goal.
Brunt knocks it forward, straight to Smith. Still 0-0 here, 34th minute, but here is Benicio now driving inside from the right flank, feeds it into the box. Cleworth gets there first, hits it clear, and Vale will pick the ball up in his own half, lays it back to Mendy. Mendy tries to knock it off his man. Does he succeed? Yes, he does. Throw into Wrexham. Yeah, you're talking about Mendy cutting in. I mean, he does have a right foot. He can do that. He's got a terrific long-range goal at Dorking on his right foot. That mascot's coming back. Look in his eyes. His eyes are dead. Ball's worked wide to the right-hand side. As walking behind me now, I don't like it. He's heard, and he's heard. Deborah feeds it down the right-hand side. Tolai's unlucky there as he tries to take it. He does win a free kick, though, as Matty James challenges. I swear to God, he was lingering then behind me. I don't like this.
He's looking at you, Mark. He's looking at you.
Yeah, all right. Don't worry. I've got a gun. Ball's cleared. But Port Vale pick it up once more. Harper working it over to the left-hand side. Ball's played into the box. Aaron James can only poke it in the air. Cleworth does well to have the strength to make it. His shot just hit in, but Cleworth blocks it. It's a spiteful strike that. Aaron James's clearance is blocked, but comes back to him, and he heads it back into midfield, where Low tidies it up and goes back into his own half. Wrexham defending the edge of the area well. But here now again, Port Vale. Sharrock has a chance to work it inside. Drives in the cross, wins the corner. Revan getting across to get the foot in. Yeah, that mascot guy going off, tail between his legs. Yep. The strong will prevail. Anyway, corner left-hand side. You're listening to Mascot Baiting live here on iFollow. Jacob Sharrock will take this corner. Huge crowd of Port Vale players all massed on the edge of the box. The Wrexham players picking them up. And now they split as Sharrock swings it in towards the penalty spot. Talaj gets ahead to it. It goes over the bar, looping high over the bar. 37th minute, still 0-0.
They do flood the box, though, when the ball goes wide. Just then, the system that they play with the 2 and the 3 up front, it enables them to just get bodies in the box. You know, when the ball goes to one of those front men just on the corner of the 18-yard box, 2 are already in the box and 1 from the opposite side can come, one of the wing backs. You know, you can see why they've scored goals in the league and why they're where they are in their position. They're really comfortable on the ball, and they've definitely got a bit of pace about them as well.
And like I said, although it's rotated, most of these players have had a few games in the league this season. So it's not League One teams' reserves against League Two teams' reserves. They're more competitive than that. As Wrexham are looking to come forwards, Vale holds her up on the halfway line. And Wrexham will work it around from the back. Ball over the top. Looking for Mendy. Benicio backpedaling does well to get ahead. That was a good idea by Cleworth. Mendy throws it back to the halfway line. And Wrexham will start from deep again. It's a nice picture from Fearless and Devotion. One of the older times we wore red shirts and black shorts. John McAliskey in 2006. Gosh. Ball swept over, nodded down by Revan. And Port Vale have it back. Harper on the edge of the box, hassled by Vale, but shrugs him off. And that's Wrexham at Birmingham City. Yeah, 2006. That was the season when we saved ourselves in the last day of the season. And it was a weird game that at Birmingham City. We drew them in the second round of the League Cup at St Andrews. They battered us. Absolutely battered us. McAliskey was on loan, made his debut up front, didn't make much impact in his time with us. Although they battered us, it was 1-1. And we took it to extra time, and it was such a mismatch, and yet we got that far. Extra time, though, it was the sort of half hour that made you wish we'd let in a second, because they beat us 4-1. Absolutely destroyed us. Throw down the line by Aaron James to the halfway line. Vale can't get to that. It's headed away. The ball is picked up in midfield by Lowe. Feeds the ball forward. It's not the worst idea. Good challenge by Aaron James. Important challenge coming in. And the ball is given back to him by Burton. Here is Burton once more. And he rather gets into that little short pass to Matty James. James calmly back to his namesake, Aaron. Aaron James again plays that channel ball. And Vale is beaten to us in the air by Hart. The ball dribbles through to Payton, who's looked very lively on the left-hand side. He feeds it back into midfield, where Vale gets a good foot in to dispossess Sharrock. Here now, Matty James sweeping it across to the left-hand side. Brunt. Now Adams still deep in Wrexham's half. And here now is Brunt getting his head down, accelerating beyond Talage. Feeds it on. It's worked wide by Revan, and then down the line, Fowler's come out wide, takes on May, good tackle, throw goes Wrexham's way. Could be Revan taking it. Forward once more. And he goes back into his own half. Wrexham changing the point of attack again as we approach the last 5 minutes of the half. Aaron James now up to the halfway line. Ford chipping it nicely to Butterson, who brings it down well. Foul on the right-hand side as Butterson runs into the box. Wrexham don't deliver it though. Cleworth sweeps it quickly out wide, and now Brunt on the halfway line helps it on to Mendy. Mendy with 2 men on him, trying to get his way out. Battles away, and in the end, well, he's lost the ball, but Adam is pressuring Deborah. I mean, ref gives the free kick for a push in the back. Josh Adam, who looks to me like a first year, taking on a 5th year. He put his hand on his back and he didn't push him. And Deborah went down like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, we've spoken about buying a free kick before, and that was definitely one that cost him a fortune.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben Amos up to take the free kick. As Scott Leon asked Wrexham, saying some nice touches from Vale, and James looks classy. Which James? Matty, I suspect you're saying. Oh, I think Aaron James done really well too. Here now is Benicio on the right-hand side. That's a cute little pass inside Josh Adam. But Lowe is forced backwards, and Wrexham look to press as Mendy pressures Benicio. Great balance to get past him. Good ball to Tolage. There's a good break. This looks for Hackford, and Cleworth as well to get a touch. Long-range shot just wide by Patton. Great strike that by Patton. Good work by Cleworth as well, I thought, when the ball's behind him, to flick it with his heel away. But yeah, good sudden injection of pace in that move, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, Wrexham go pressing, but Benicio does really well to wriggle out of it, and they're out. And then that ball into the Cleworth just behind him, wasn't it? He just healed it, but Patton hits it so sweet. Real pace. Doesn't lace it though, goes side foot just to place it in that bottom corner. Burton just watches it. Goes agonisingly wide for the Port Vale player.
Port Vale get a free kick in their own half. And yeah, they've had some good threatening moments in the latter stages of this half. Patton has now twice shown with a dead ball and a moving ball that he's got a great strike on him. Here's the ball over to the left. May, the centre-back, driving, very hard, driving forwards. Patton's trying to stop himself from running offside. Sharrock feeds the ball back to Hart, who's not making his way back as of yet. Sharrock again. Wrexham have kept good shape though. Deborah's had to receive it on the halfway line. Benicio now, will he try and take on Mendy again? He cuts inside once more, stabs the ball which Harper won't be able to keep in. But the Port Vale fans are enjoying Benicio, aren't they? He's left-footed and quick and tricky.
He's just electric when he gets going though, isn't he? He's like really sharp movements, left and right, laterally, he can move really quickly, create himself a little bit of space. Port Vale have been really good past 5-10 minutes. Wrexham not being able to keep the ball as they were doing. They're not as penetrative, but Port Vale certainly grown into the game and been the better side in the last 10 minutes.
I totally forgot it was the Adran Trophy quarter-final draw at 8 o'clock. And Wrexham will be drawn away to Barry Town. Oh, man. Nice people, but oh. Oh, it's a good flick by Vale. And Nathan Smith has to go to ground to deny Butherson as he drives down the right-hand side to throw into Wrexham. There'll be Revan to take it. 90 seconds plus added time in the first half left. Revan gets it back from Ford. Sweeps a high ball to the far post. Vale attacks it and gets a head on it. I must be honest, I thought he heads it onto the defender, but the ref's given a goal kick. It didn't go that far wide. I think Vale's making the same point.
Well, there wasn't really anything to come from it, but Revan obviously saw Vale pulling off the back. Good movement by Vale. It's a great cross round the back. Well, the ref's saying he's got full contact on it. You'd expect him to try and hit the target. Don't know what's happened to Deborah, though, and he's struggling a little bit. The one player that did play on Saturday for Port Vale.
Yeah.
He's now down injured.
We've had our 2 injuries. I don't want Deborah to be hurt. Looking at that replay, I'm still kind of thinking, did he head it onto Deborah? I don't know.
No, I actually thought Deborah headed it.
Yeah.
But maybe I've seen that wrong. From my initial thought was it's actually really good defending from the number 22, but because it's a really nice ball in from Vale, like Andy says, and from Revan, sorry, and you're sort of backing Vale in that situation, but Deborah does really well, but comes out sadly, possibly injured.
He seems to be feeling that his right calf, which again, whether he just pulled something because he jumped, I don't know. But I think it should be a Wrexham corner, to be honest. Anyway, looks like this will take us into added time. There's 10 seconds left. I was just thinking, was only 2 minutes have been added on. Obviously, that's not taking into account this stoppage now. I would have thought with Ford's injury it would be longer than that, but hey. Anyway, I was just thinking, we were saying about the value of getting minutes into these players and they might be useful later on in the season. And I was thinking of your great goal-scoring season, Andy, when we got promoted, that Scott Green came in and did a very similar job. He gave a lift in the middle of the pitch, I thought, in the key closing stages.
Yeah, he was just a little bit of experience that we probably lacked earlier on in the season, but he just came in and fell into the group really well. Really good lad, great character. And then he chipped in with a couple of brilliant goals in key games. Remember the Hartlepool game against top of the league? We played really well against them. And he did a ridiculously brilliant over away at Boston for Truns to score. Like he was running across, and the ball came from the cross. You just expect him to tap it in, and he just ran straight over it. Took about half of Boston with him. And Truns was just left at the back post to put it in. But that type just dropped in, that experience, it just lifted the group, and that last 10 games it just took us over the line.
Yeah, he was a real class act, and that game against Hartlepool was just huge, wasn't it? He scores the 2 goals, we beat them 2-0.
Yeah, quality celebration as well, it's funny.
Right, so Port Vale are going to see the half out of 10 men, it looks like. They haven't brought a sub on, but Deborah doesn't look too great as he limps around the pitch. In midfield, Josh Adam can't quite intercept, and Talaj moves it backwards. Benicio into Harper, nice little ball around the corner, snappy pass by Talaj as well. Here's Benicio again, trying to make inroads down the right-hand side. Mendy stays on his feet, but he gets past him and feeds it onto Harper. Harper tries to cut inside, Adam and Mendy there, and Mendy gets a good block in eventually. Deborah is back on the pitch, but down this right-hand side, well, to be fair, on the left of Sharrock and Patton, they've got something, but on the right as well. They look good threat down the sides.
Yo, Harper, centre midfielder, he makes the break out into this flank, this right-hand flank, which means Talaj, he drops into that middle 10 position. Really good rotations in there, really difficult to pick up.
Here's Deborah, back on the pitch, and then leaves the pitch, take a long throw. Here he comes, he steps up, throws it near post, headed up in the air rather, up and away. In fact, he's headed to the edge of the box. Vale helps her on further, but it'll come back in. Benicio has got Mendy and Vale to beat, so he goes back to the halfway line. Low snaps the ball in, but Lewis Brunt read it well. Adam pops it to Mendy. Wonder if he could have helped onto Vale. Mendy tries to and puts it off the pitch. And the chance of the breakaway's gone. I think Vale's just making that point to Adam, actually. He could have found him early and set up a break.
Yeah, it's that first pass. I think it's Brunt steps in, does really well. And then that first pass, it can go to Vale straight away. Yes, Josh Adam plays Vale and we're off and running. Brunt's already making his third man running. and then it goes back, and then we play it out of play.
From the throw, Brunt as well to get it clear. Nice touch by Vale to bring it down. Pings it to Cleworth, who's put under pressure immediately and goes back to his keeper as Hackford was after him. Burton goes long. Vale gets up and wins another header. Buthers on now, up against the last defender. Couldn't quite bring the ball in. And Nathan Smith did well to stand his ground. And the ref says that's that for the half. 0-0 at half-time. One warm round of applause from both sets of fans. Like I say, they've heavily rotated teams, but both teams have done a solid job here. Both sides have had their chances, but it remains goalless at the break. In a way, the headline used in the first half being Wrexham losing Will Boyle before the kick-off to injury, and then losing Luke Bolton. I forgot for a second who it was.
Yep.
Going off injured as well. In some ways, that's the main takeaway from the first half. But well, we've seen some new players like Josh Adam. I mean, he looks tidy and he's in and out of the game a bit, but he looks neat enough, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think to start with, I thought it was great. The first 10-15 minutes started really bright, and then maybe the change with Revan coming on, a little bit more of Wrexham's play was down that right-hand side, so the ball's further away from Josh Adam, so he's not on it as much as he was in that first 15 minutes. But he looks tidy. Matty James, like they said, really tidy, just in the middle of the park, just knows exactly what's around him, what's going on. Probably talking Anthony Ford through the game, helping him through it, which is great for him. And Aaron James has done great on that right-hand side as well. I think probably the better chances have come for Port Vale. They've had two better chances, I think, just wide of the post. Had half chances, haven't we, from a couple of set pieces and a couple of shots that keepers saved from Bodvarsson, but fairly even at the moment. I thought we had the half an hour, and then I thought Port Vale came into it, had a bit of the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, totally agree. I think, not too many clear-cut opportunities, like you say, Andy, but I think, at times Port Vale have caught us out a few times when they've, suddenly injected that tempo and been quite quick. Obviously, Benicio, I think, has been the one for them who's caused us a number of issues. Beaten Mendy, a couple of the times. I think that might be something at half-time Phil Parkinson will be saying, just, keep an eye out for him. But then on the other side as well, I think Patton's done really well. Looked very sharp, had a few opportunities on goal himself. But I'll be looking the second half, maybe can we get Harry Ashfield on, Callum Edwards, just get some of the youngsters on, give them some minutes, which would be nice to see. And will he bring Mullin on? I'm not sure. Does he want to maybe get a few more minutes in his legs? Me and Andy was talking about it before the game. It'll be interesting to see if he does make an appearance tonight.
Well, if it goes to pens, I'd put him on to just try and get him a pen and just get him a goal. If it is in a penalty shootout, however it is, just get him back playing and scoring. But I don't know if he's worth the risk, of any sort of knock to him. He's the one that you'd pin your hopes on in the first team, scoring goals regularly. He's the one that we've pinned to the mast, haven't we, for the past 2 years, and he's produced for us. You don't want him to go down in a bit of a dead rubber game away when you don't really need to play him. It's more important that he's fit and raring to go for Stockport. But saying that, you do want him to get a goal, so he could nick the winner here, and he's off and running. It's the difficult one to balance up.
I mean, Bodvarsson, may not have 90 minutes in him, or it might be a risk to play him and Matty James both the 90 minutes. So, yeah, looking at Mullin, he's certainly an option, isn't he? If maybe just to give Bodvarsson 10 minutes off at the end. And like I say, if he can nick a goal, fantastic, because he just looks like he needs one to go in to get that positivity back in his play. Yeah,
and I think the fact he's on that, he's in the squad in the first place, sort of shows he's there for a reason. I don't think, if you're planning on not using him, I don't think you really bring him. To be honest, I think you give him the night off. But, like Andy says, confidence is so key in your play as a footballer, and it gives you so much, can give you that extra, especially going into a really big game, really, against Stockport on Saturday. We need him firing, and hopefully, if he gets one tonight, like you say, it gives him that little bit of momentum, that little kickstarter going into that game on Saturday that he might, just need.
Yeah, I think he was quite good on Saturday. I thought he played well as a player for us. Everybody just says Paul Mullin goals, and that's what he's all about. He's not. His play is so much more than that for the team. However, he's still getting into really good goal-scoring positions. When you're not getting any chances is when you need to worry, because you just stop believing that the ball's going to come to you. He's nowhere near that now. He scored a couple of really good goals in this competition already. He scored his first goal in League One. it's just a matter of time for him. So I think we just leave him be, let him go and play. It will happen for him, because he had a chance, just went the wrong side of the post on the weekend. He had a volley, just mistimed. It is coming, it will come. I don't think there's any worry that he won't score 12, 15 goals this season. For me personally, I think and believe that he will. I think he believes that. It is just that little bit of confidence and belief he needs, that goal or that chance or a little something that he does to just go and kick-start him for the rest of the season.
I 100% agree. I was a little surprised to see the sort of mixed reaction on social media. No, I know you don't take social media as gospel, obviously, but you know, some people weren't that happy with the performance on last Saturday, which I was surprised at. Some people were quite critical of Palmer and Mullin, which again I was surprised at. In that, like I said, Mullin played well and didn't take two of his chances. That's not criminal. Palmer, I thought, was terrific with the work rate he put in, and he had a couple of good efforts on goal with his head as well. But yeah, I guess it's typical that people sort of press the panic button far too early. And when people say that about Mullin, oh, he's missing his chances, we need to have somebody else. Well, you know, you don't have to look too far back. Last season, Mullin was injured and missed the start of the season. Took quite a while to pick up properly, and once he picked up properly, he was magnificent.
Well, he dragged us over the line
at
the end of the season. He was the one scoring the goals that got us over the line. And it just took that penalty at Forest Green, didn't it, to just give us that confidence, that boost. And it is just that little something. You know, he's our talisman. He's our leader. He's the one that I believe, if I'm a centre-half and I'm looking up the pitch and I see Paul Mullin playing for us, I'm quite happy. Yeah. Whether he's in goals or not. And when I played and I was going through a bit of a drought, Dennis Smith pulled me to one side and he said, I don't mind that you're not scoring. What you're doing for the team is more important. You're running around and you're positional with truns and you're working and you're the first line of our defence, etc. You play. And that was just the little bit confidence boost I needed to relieve my, I've got to score. And then I started scoring again. And I think that's very similar to Paul Mullin. He works so hard for the team. He's desperate to do well for the team. And it will come. It will come. It just will happen. We've just got to be patient with it.
Yeah. I mean, his movement as well. You know, people they're just looking at the end product, but his movement and his runs really create space for other players. The way he'll interact. I'm listening to the audiobook of his autobiography on my long drive south to cover the women's team.
I've done it. I've listened to it as well.
Yeah,
brilliant.
It is good. It's really good, isn't it? And the bit I just listened to last Sunday was him talking about how much he enjoys interacting with Elliot Lee and how they want to be close and work together, and just those little things. That, you know, the number of nice little turns around the corner. It's only a little gentle touch, but he gets it right and he keeps moves going. And one of those was an assist for Ryan Barnett on Saturday. He's a hell of a lot more than just goals, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Well, he uses his body really well in holding the ball up. Yes, he tries to buy free kicks, probably an inch too much sometimes. But that's what strikers do. If we can relieve the pressure for our defenders by getting a little push or a little nudge and going down, then so be it. You know, he does so much for the team that he'll be in the team, not just for his goals, but for what he does for the group. Simple as that.
Yeah. And then like that work rate as well that we all know, you know, a number of times you see him chasing back to the corner flag with 5 minutes left to make a tackle. You know, fair play to the guy.
And Palmer. At the moment,
yeah.
Wow, his work rate has really rocketed since last season. For me, he's working so much harder than he was last year. Maybe not as many opportunities, but he got the shirt, didn't he, this season? And he's really took to it. And fair play to him. And I think he's not pressurising himself with having to score goals. They will come. He probably should have had one on the weekend, actually, with the one he blazed over the bar. But what he's doing for the team in both boxes and the way he's working, it fits what the team are doing.
Well, he earned that new contract, didn't he? I mean, I think that was something a few people were talking about at the start of the season, those boys in the team that are coming towards the end of that contract at the end of this season. And, you know, it only took him a few weeks to sort of show the people at the club that he's well worth it still at his age. And I think he's probably been up there amongst our best players that so far this season. I think Ryan Barnett's probably, for me, number one, just in terms of how effective and just how his levels seem to have just shot up so far this season. But Ollie Palmer's close behind because, like you say, that work rate, I know he's only on a couple goals so far, but that work rate for me, you can't, you can't replicate that really, and ask for more from him at the moment, especially, he's played alongside a few different partners now, and he's still putting that in, week out, and it's so vital for this team. He's, like we say, going forward, he's doing okay, but also coming back as well. That work rate is so important, and yeah, I think he's been so good for us so far this season.
A little bit of context to something that we mentioned in passing in Saturday's commentary is that I was saying that that's the first time this season Palmer had played 90 minutes. And actually, almost to the day, it was a year since he last played 90 minutes. But I don't know, some people seem surprised at the contract extension as if, he hasn't got 90 minutes in him. And it's clearly not that. I mean, quite frankly, if Clarkson felt he didn't have 90 minutes in him, he wouldn't have given him a contract extension, because you can't carry him and then sort of Fletcher's sort of in that position. It's just that he's been told, put in 70 minutes of hard graft, empty yourself, and then we'll give you a break. And he does that very well.
Yeah, and it's not that you can't play 90 minutes. It's that at that intensity, you can't play 90 minutes. And not many players are out there that can go at that full intensity for 90 minutes. So they'd say, go for it. Like you said, empty the tank. And if it's 70, if it's 60, if it's 65, 80, whatever it is, put your hand up. You're perfect. It's done my job, because we've got players here that can then continue that intensity for the rest of the game.
And when you got a player like Fletcher, who you're not going to look to start regularly, but who can make such an impact in the last 20 minutes against a tiring defence, it's just a tactic. It's not a decision that Palmer can't keep going. It's that he does that, and then we got Fletcher, and we get a fresh player with a similar profile to hopefully create havoc.
Yeah, and the biggest hit for us, I believe, is Marriott's injury.
Yeah.
He was our form striker scoring goals. Now, whether you felt that he shouldn't be in the team for Mullin or whatever, it doesn't matter. The 20 minutes, if he did play, he would nick a goal. If he was starting, he was scoring. That was him at that moment. He was in a real good, rich vein of form, and that has come out of our team. And now we're searching for that goal. Who's going to be that one that is going to nick that goal? And we're still searching for it at the moment.
I think that's why there has been suddenly, particularly on social media, that little bit of panic and a little bit more pressure on Paul Mullin after the Jack Marriott injury, because I think people were quite, obviously with Jack Marriott scoring the goals, everyone seemed to be saying, no rush whatsoever with Mullin, let him take his time. And then suddenly, obviously Jack had that unfortunate injury that's going to keep him out for a long period of time, and everyone's suddenly thinking, Paul Mullin's now, there's a lot more pressure on his shoulders. But like we've already said, I think he's getting in those opportunities, he's getting in those situations. It's just that little bit, that final bit now, which we all know he can do, and I'm sure in the next few weeks that'll come.
Yeah, absolutely. And although you like to have strikers firing and scoring goals, I mean, there are a few players in the squad who are capable. I mean, you'd expect at least to get to double figures by the end of the season, even though we're a step up from last year. McLean's got a goal threat in him as well. Cannon gets into decent positions. Barnett will cut inside and hit shots, as Mansfield know only too well.
Set pieces.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got Cleworth on 3 already. Do you know what I mean? So everybody is chipping in, and that's really important. I would like Lee. I would like to see him more further up that pitch, in that pocket where he does score goals from, coming in, either getting in the box for those little cheeky headers he was scoring at the National League especially, or hitting those longer range shots. I feel he's just dropped a little bit deeper, maybe for the team purposes, from the shape that we play from. He doesn't maybe get into those positions, but I think he could be our little creator, especially if teams work out that Barnett's our real threat of creation. So if they can stop him, where do we create from? It's got to be Lee, it's got to be Cannon. Can they get into those pockets and then start to play those, like Paul Mullin was talking about, those little relationship passes, those little 1-2s around the edge of the box to create chances? I think again for him it's the similar to Mullin one he could do with a goal, to keep him on that track of maybe getting those 10 goals this season.
I really enjoyed the bit where Paul Mullin laid into Danny Murphy as well. That's my favourite bit of the book so far. Sorry, I won't say any more. I certainly can't quote what he said, but it was beautiful. I've got a theory, which usually means I'm about to say something that's wrong. I think a draw will take us through, for the simple reason, looking at the table, okay, if we draw and they win the shootout, we're level, but I assume the next determining factor is goal difference, and our goal difference is 2 better than them. Obviously, surely penalties aren't going to count in the goal difference. So, yeah, surely we will go through as the winners of the group, whatever happens. So never mind the dead rubber, we could get a really dead penalty shootout. Whoever wins, the result's already known.
Well, I read that a draw was good enough as well. So however that works out, I don't know. But I'm taking it that is gospel.
Yeah, absolutely. As the team starts to come back in again, Beefy QP Wrexham, an all-time great Ask Wrexham contributor, has asked me if I've heard from the BBC about replacing Lineker yet. No, because I am, and I can reveal exclusively, the new Archbishop of Canterbury. Hurrah! That's where a Catholic upbringing gets you. Right, and Wrexham have made another change. Is that Mark Howard on for?
Yep, Mark Howard on for
right.
Callum Burton, I believe.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that's not an injury. I mean, hell's bells. If we lose another, that'd be really crazy, wouldn't it?
Well, I did see keepers warming up over the far side while we were talking Wrexham, all things Wrexham, and Catholic churches. But I just felt that it was just one of the sub-keepers maybe just doing a little bit. But it was a more rigorous warm-up than you would expect a goalkeeper to be doing if they were just going to go and sit back down again. So it must have been Mark he must have been prepped. Something might be up with Callum Burton. Not quite an ideal day so far for Wrexham.
No, absolutely. As we get underway again, and Aaron James knocks it long. Fowles just flicked her on, and Revan can't get there, but it is a throw-in to Wrexham, about 25 yards out. Revan's got the ball in his hands already. Butherson's made a run to the corner flag. He's not using him. I've noticed a few times, I know, if you're not in the right position to play it, don't. Oh, hang on, as Revan's got it back, wins a corner. It's a good lunging tackle by Sharrock, but good burst of pace again by Revan in a tight area.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot on, did he? He only had one way, and that was to bunt it down the wing and leg it dead fast. See if you can beat Sharrock to the cross. Sharrock up to the task, though. Good block.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's always a bad thing if you take your time over a throw-in by any stretch, but I've noticed a few times lately, Revan really maybe not quite backing himself to find a teammate and hanging on to the ball quite a long time. I don't know. Anyway, Anthony Ford to take this corner. He's got a short option, which he uses. It's Revan. Revan cuts on his left, then back on his right, beats his man, goes on the outside of another, and then lays it off to Ford. Ford hits the first defender, throw-in.
Yeah, I think the pass to Ford was on a bit earlier. Just as soon as he beats his man, Ford's got a bit more room.
Yeah, the centre-backs have gone back now. And the ball is played back to Aaron James and then Cleworth. Butherson's shouting for the diagonal, but it's fed down the right. Ford sets himself, swings a good cross in. Oh, defender just got there first. Josh Adam gets there, chance to shoot, rather prods it and it's blocked. Half chance. Didn't quite get his body shape right to actually hit it.
It looked like a bit of a handball as it dropped in there. One of the Port Vale players just pushing out an arm towards it. But yeah, it fell to Josh Adams. First touch, not amazing, but then he just tries to tow it past the Port Vale defender, who manages to get something on it and clear it. Oh, if he maybe took it first time, had a better opportunity of scoring.
Good start by Wrexham to the half as Aaron James tries another ball down the flank but puts it off the pitch. Throw put in to Harper from Sharrock, and Port Vale will build again from the back. It's Hart rolling it across. Steve Kunsley asks on Ask Wrexham, how are the pies at Port Vale? Good. Chicken Balti, solid. I had the first.
I had steak.
Nice.
Very
I had
good.
apparently the first pie served in the ground today because they spent about 5 minutes sticking thermometers into them until they declared one of them safe to eat. I hope they knew what they were doing. That's all I'm saying.
A disgusting thing that's also happened is Mia went hot dog.
Yeah, I know.
Outrageous.
Yeah. Hot dog.
It's not a football thing.
match.
It's
No,
not a football
no.
thing, is it?
Well,
You'll learn, Mia.
They
You'll learn.
weren't sticking thermometers in the hot dog, so I thought it was a safer option.
Yeah, well, I believe that no matter what the temperature of scraping from the abattoir floor, it's going to be safe. The ball works over to the left-hand side. It's not a ballpark, it's a football ground. On the left-hand side, Sharrock looks to run off the pitch. Does he? No. Revan's kept with him well. He prods it back inside to the dangerous pattern. And he lays her off in turn. Chance maybe for the ball to be stood into the box by Hart. He does, and it's attacked. Wrexham in the end managed to get the ball clear. Ball bouncing on the edge of the box. Eventually, it's Hart. Good snappy pass to the feet of Patton, who works it out wide. Sharrock. Left-hand side, level the edge of the area. Tries to take on Revan again. Oh, what's a hell of a turn. He's managed to get past him. And keeps going until he runs into trouble. And Vale, back defending, does well to snap it away from him. Runs into a crowd and comes out with the ball. And a good ball out to Botherson on the right-hand side. Botherson now has dragged Smith out from the middle. Wrexham players attacking the far post. Smith, great tackle. Corner.
Yeah, stuck to his task well, didn't he? Yeah, 1v1. Botherson, just a little step over, lollipop to go outside him. Good sliding tackle by Smith, though. Mo Vale has gone all Paolo One-Chop in the midfield.
Yes.
It does remind me of him, doesn't he? Like big, tall, lanky, just really good, happy feet when he's got the ball at his feet.
He's sort of awkwardly long legs, but he gets away with it somehow, doesn't he? Anthony Ford with the away swinger. He signals, swings into the 6-yard box and drops loose. Oh, and it's prodded just wide for another corner. Oh, Lewis Brunt is really appealing to the ref for something.
Well, I think it was Aaron James across the front that got something on it to drop it down, and it just was so slow. It didn't roll to Max Cleworth just to hook in. And then it was just a little toe poke out before Max could swing a leg at it.
Anthony Ford just waiting for the go-ahead to take the free kick. If you heard a dull thump then, it was me punching that mascot. Anthony Ford, again, sweeps it into the same sort of area. Flicked on beautifully and Wrexham take the lead. Max Cleworth again. Oh, that was beautiful. Botherson with a stooping flick across the face of goal from a lovely delivery from Ford. And Max Cleworth arrives at the far post and smashes it gleefully into the roof of the net. Wrexham take the lead.
Yeah, he's got the armband on tonight and he gets his goal to go with it. It's a really nice little move on the corner. Really nice flick on initially from Bodvarsson, I think it was. And, you know, really, it's on a plate for Max. He knows that's his 4th of the season, I think, so far. He knows what he's doing in that position nowadays.
The timing's brilliant because it's Bodvarsson comes into that pocket just on the corner of the 6-yard box where the ball's delivered to, and he just glances it, aiming for the far post if he can go in, but even if it doesn't go in, it's left there for somebody, and it's Max who just peels off round the back, and he's just manned, just ball watching, doesn't see it, him coming round behind him, and he smashes it, to be fair, roof of the net, nearly managed to get it over the bar, but into the roof of the net it goes for 1-0.
Allianson gives Wrexham a throw-in straight from the kick-off as Hart miscontrols. I've got to be honest, I think he kept her in, personally, but ref said linesman's in a better position than me. Says it's a throw to Wrexham on the halfway line. And it'll be Aaron James to take it, rather than the first hole. Goes beyond him. Vale gets up, wins another header. Botherson picks up the second ball and brings it down really well in a tight area. It's a clever ball towards Vale, who can't quite get there. Hart goes down wanting a free kick, not given. Vale again is just shifting from foot to foot. Revan gets her out of a crowded area. Ford squares it back to Matty James. Wrexham just shifting the ball around nicely here. Revan, great first touch, clips it beyond Sharrock, and he sprints beyond and chips the ball in. Just went out of play before he could pull it back into the box, but, well, that was a good way to respond to going ahead. Straight back up over Vale again. Yeah,
good response from Wrexham, because you've got to go, don't just sit back when you've scored, keep going forwards. This is brilliant from Revan, because he has a little scan over his, sees Sharrock coming in quite quick and just flips it first time past him, uses his pace to get to the byline, just can't quite keep it in though, and goes out for a goal kick.
Ball fitted up towards the edge of Wrexham's area, but it can't be held up. Ooh, it's a Hart left a foot in on foul there. Ref says he played the ball. I'd like to see that again. Slowly he gets up as now here's Patton driving to the edge of the area. Can he find the angle for a shot? He does, but it's well blocked. Picked up again, no, by Benicio, who drills a shot. Good save by Mark Howard, diving to his right, palming it away. And it's gone out for, is it a throw or a corner? Corner, great save that by Howard though.
Yeah, really good save by Howard. I'm not sure if it was, I still haven't seen the replay on that challenge on Vale. I thought he caught him quite high. But Benicio, I think it is again, just catches it really well. It's a really nice save, well watched from Howard, who is making his 50th appearance tonight for Wrexham. So I'm not sure if that might be one of the reasons why he's come on. Hopefully, in Callum Burton's case it is.
Well, you'd like to think, wouldn't you? But I don't think. It's only if you think Phil Parks is not that sentimental. I don't know. Anyway, here comes the corner to the far post, header in, and again Howard's there. Easier save this time, but he got across his line well, and the header went straight at him. Decent head chance though, getting it well just outside 6-yard box at the far post.
Yeah, a little bit too easy, letting your man run off you and getting the run on you, just getting his way, stop them running where they want to. But the first shot on that little pair of chances, brilliant block by Brunt.
Yeah.
Just got a size up of it, saw that he was going to pull the trigger, just got himself down low, and really good block.
Ball over the top by Cleworth, dealt with comfortably enough by Sharrock. Throw to Wrexham on the halfway line, right hand side. Yeah, hell of a block, wasn't it, by Brunt. Just got down, because again, Patton, he's had 3 shots now, all of them with terrific power behind him. Now then, ball over top by Ford's a nice idea. Revan chasing after this with Sharrock. Did that hit Sharrock and go for the corner? No, goal kick given. The ref looked to me like he might be looking for the corner, but then the linesman's right there and he deferred to him. But I wasn't sure if that didn't just hit Sharrock as he was ushering us out. Anyway, long goal kick, and Aaron James wrestling with Patton. It's picked up by Hackford on the left-hand side. He feeds it into midfield. Harper now, playing it behind Deborah. He rolls it into midfield, and it's pressure on the ball. Ref says no foul, and Wrexham are breaking forwards with Budverson. Only one man in the middle, though, so he's trying to hold on to it, and in the end, runs out of pitch, throw in to Port Vale, 25 yards out from their own goal.
We've had 10 minutes of this second half, and I can't remember saying Mendy's name or Josh Adam. Yeah. All the players been down Revan's side, down here with Ford and Vale, this side of the pitch. We haven't really had chance to go from one side out through and round back to the other side of the pitch. It's just been all in this channel.
Ball over the top by Lowe is an ambitious one, and Cleworth can't get there first, but all Hackford can do is push the ball out of play for a throw to Wrexham by the corner flag rather than concede a goal kick. So Wrexham leading 1-0. Max the Bomber Cleworth striking again. And yeah, another injury it would seem. I had Burton being replaced by Mark Howard. Long ball over the top by Cleworth. Budverson can't reach that. It'll go through to Amos. I had a quick look on the social media to see whether Wrexham were able to name a replacement sub for Cleworth, but there was no mention of that. I think it's so late, probably they can't, can they?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. But we were talking at half-time about Mullin and maybe Lee needing that bit of... Max is a prime example of that in that opposition's box. He hadn't scored before back end of last season, and you nick one and all of a sudden the floodgates open, and every time he goes up he believes the ball's going to fall to him, and that is the difference in your mindset.
Yeah, exactly. That bit of belief. He's attacking it thinking it's going to fall to me. As here is Hart now on the halfway line. Works it wide to Sharrock. Hart once more as Ford steps up to put him under pressure. And Port Vale again having to build patiently. Ball down the left-hand side, and now Patton breaks. His pass doesn't really fall kindly for Harper, who has to do almost a full pirouette before drawing a challenge and winning a throw. And now is Hart again. Ball picked up by Patton. Harper might have hurt himself doing that. He's limping back into position as Mendy clears. Smith's back header just takes the danger away as Budverson was initially chasing. Ball worked over to the left-hand side. Hart, who's been bringing the football forwards confidently, sweeps the ball across to the right side of the pitch. Benicio equally hasn't had that much influence so far in this half, apart from that fine shot, of course. Patton works it round the outside. First time cross by Sharrock. Just too much on it. Good stretch to get it partly away, but it comes back in on the edge of the area and dribbles in the end harmlessly through to Howard.
Great leap by Brunt at the back post. Deals with the cross coming out. Just the timing of it. Really good. Gets it at its highest point and able to cross it. Just watching the pattern of play there by Port Vale. The ball comes to the left side centre half here, and straight away Shorrock's off on his bike. He's running away from play, and the inside forward Patton, he's making his way out to that wing where the space he's left. Just really good. Like, looks like they're a coach team.
Matty James swings to the far post, driven in the goal mark by Mendy. Great clearance, but Vale wins it back superbly, and Mendy hits it. Well, hits it. Easy save for the keeper. That was a hell of a chance of Mendy the second time around.
Yeah, beautiful pick out by Matty James. Just absolutely puts it into Jacob Mendy's path, and then he just can't quite find that man in the middle to tap it in.
So Port Vale starting again. We're into the 60th minute now.
Yeah, it was the second one was the better chance, wasn't it? He's gone to put it across the box, the first one, but the second one's the chance. It just bounces, just gets it all wrong. Hits it straight into the ground and straight at the keeper. Easy for the keeper to pick up.
So, Wrexham again. Shifting across the left-hand side. Sharrock round the corner. He knows that the run's been made for him by Patton, but it's a firm challenge on him by Aaron James, throwing to Port Vale just inside Wrexham's half on the left-hand side. Darren Moore, he's already had 2 Manager of the Month awards this season. What a brilliant season he's had for Port Vale. He's deep in conversation on the sides of the pitch. Throw-in taken, and Harper gets it wrong.
He is a unit of a guy. Yeah. I've played against him a couple of times. Blimey, you have to make... You know, when you run 14k in a game, it's normally 15 to get round the sides of him.
Oh, that guy's a lion, a witch and a wardrobe all rolled into one.
What a fellow though, really nice, really down to earth, and talks football, a lot of sense. Had a couple of opportunities that have gone well for him, a couple of others that haven't, but he's sticking in there. And his patterns of play, like we were talking about, he's obviously coached this team into what happens when the ball is here. You know, when the ball goes here, what do we do then to progress the ball up the pitch? And I love seeing that in a team.
I read a bit in doing research for the preview about their owner, and she's a self-made millionaire. Oh, hang on, here we are. As Wrexham go over the top, Cleworth looking for the pace of Revan, lovely ball. Heavy touch by him, but with his pace, he can keep it in, and I think that's a goal kick. Oh, corner given. Okay, Lions were making up for last time, and I think he got it wrong. Looked like it just nicked back off Revan. Yeah, their owner. Oh, hang on, short corner opportunity. Yeah, fed to Revan by Ford. He sweeps it in. Keeper will take that easily up. She said about how she believes the importance of bringing the right people in, and it doesn't matter if it costs a lot of money. And Darren Moore appears to be a classic example of that. He's done an incredible job here at Port Vale.
Well, I believe there's a certain amount of clubs at the top end of League 2 and the bottom end of League 1 is if you're a manager and you can go into that club when they are in League 2, you've got a very good chance of getting them up because their budgets are good for League 2. But when they move up to League 1, their budgets are low. So if you take over when they're in League 1, you've got a very difficult job on your hand keeping them in the division. But if you get them at League 2...
It was a good burst by Port Vale and another good piece of work by Howard. Although in the end, Cleworth has to get it off the line. Great burst by Patton. He fed it through to Sharrock. Great save at his feet by Howard. Here's Benicio up in the back and Cleworth gets there. I mean, Howard did brilliantly to stop him from scoring, but the ball still spanned towards goal where Cleworth took it off the pitch. Brotherson wins a free kick in midfield to relieve the pressure. Mark Howard, fair play. It's not always easy to come off the bench as a keeper. He's done brilliantly.
Yeah, and it looks like he's just done enough, and then if Max Cleworth isn't there, I think that one's just going to p-roll into the back of the net. So Max Cleworth does really well to just keep his eye on the ball, make sure he follows it in, stay alive, stay alert.
Yeah, really nice pattern of play again. Port Vale, pattern, little 1-2, then a little roll through. Like you say, Howard really does well in closing down the angle and gets enough on it to just stop it going towards the goal. And Cleworth there to sweep up.
Here's Hackford now turning, and he's going to get a chance to shoot as he looks out wide instead. And it's a challenge on the edge here. Hackford mishits his shot straight at Howard. But they were asking for a penalty against Brunt as he made the tackle. Well, I think it was an optimistic call. And who's lurking on the sides of the pitch to get a half-hour workout? Paul Mullin. Bulverson went down a bit heavily after that foul on him in midfield a moment ago. Long switch by Cleworth, miscontrolled by Benicio. He's lucky that Mendy wasn't looking for the mistake. He plays it inside to Deborah. And he pings it to the halfway line. Good defending. Lewis Brunt likes to get really tight and see if he can get an interception in round the side. But a sloppy pass then in midfield by Adam. And Wrexham are in danger of being broken on once more. Revan maybe could have got a foot in on Sharrock there. He hesitates and the ball's worked out to the left. Patton trying to play a ball into the middle for the overlapping centre-back Hart. Can't find him and it's cleared. Buthazon can't quite get his head onto it. Smith now. A bit more pace about how Port Vale are playing. As Harper works it to Benicio and he's going to go on a little run, is he? Works it neatly between the lines. Prodded forwards and here's a big chance. That's got to be a penalty. Yeah. Lunging tackle by Lewis Brunt.
Just give it a goal kick.
Oh, what? Wow. Wow. I'm flabbergasted.
Well, I think we'll have a look at that one because that looked like a defo pen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really good play again. Slid through.
Yeah, Benicio fed it in between the lines and it was helped on again and, well, it still looks like a penalty to me, I've got to be honest. Port Vale are making a change.
Well, if it wasn't Brunt, it was Howard. It's Brunt that gets him first, isn't it? And you think that he's just rolled it past the keeper to go round the keeper.
Low comes off of Port Vale. Diamond Edwards comes on. And I've seen if Mullins come on yet. Not yet. Port Vale bringing on experienced players now. Ethan Chislett coming on to replace Harper. Off comes Deborah. On comes Ben Hennigan, who of course scored a winning goal in I don't want to talk about that night in the last minute for Chester against Wrexham a few years ago. And now Paul Mullin is coming in as well. Friendly reception. Buthers on as the player who comes off. So Mullin gets 24 minutes plus added time. See if he can make an impact, see if he can get a goal and just get that confidence going. But wow, what a let-off for Wrexham. I just called it as a penalty. I thought it was blatant. But wow, decision didn't go that way.
Yeah, they've definitely responded well last few minutes. Port Vale going into the game had a few more chances. It's been a few little moments of sloppy play by Wrexham, just giving the ball away in some cheap areas.
Hennigan wins a header against Vale. Nathan Smith has gone out to the left-hand side of the back three. Maybe because Vale got some change out of him in the air, to be fair. And then Hennigan is a big stopper. Now, has he got the pace to stick with Mullin as the ball doesn't reach Mullin in the end? The ball's cleared. Massey James receiving it back from Brunt. Cleworth now. Square to Aaron James. Edwards goes across to pressure him. It's worked down the line inaccurately, but Wrexham will get it back forward. Lost the ball, but it's given straight back to Aaron James, deep in his own half. Matty James has done what it says on the tin, I think, hasn't he? He looks very tidy and sticks things together in midfield as Mendy loses that ball now, and the ball is squared towards Edwards, edge of the D. Nice footwork to get it onto his left foot. Can he get the shot? Tries to play a little ball into the box, and it asks quite a lot of Hackford. Good work to deal with that by Aaron James. Revan clears. But Port Vale have got their tails up now, and they've got some of that first team that have gotten to the top of League Two on the pitch now for that triple substitution. It's fed backwards. And in the end, will be switched across to the left-hand side. Sharrock can't see a way through, though. Goes back to the keeper. Mullin and Farl, the front two now. Amos working it out wide, threaded down the line, a good little burst of pace that down the right hand side by Chislett. Benicio now on the halfway line. Mendy steps up to block him off, and they'll begin again from the back. Smith drives into the left side of the Wrexham half. He's telling Sharrock to go around the outside. He plays it in towards Edwards, who just about gets it back to him. Smith as well, feeding it down the line. And that's Sharrock 30 yards out. Wrexham keeping that shape well, as they do so often. The change of personnel has not made that much of a difference. Ball switched over to the right-hand side. And in the end, it's a well-won back. Josh Adam now driving forwards. Mullin wants a diagonal. It's played the other way to Fowle on the left. Mullin's in the middle. Fowle running at his man. Cuts inside onto his right foot. Works it back nicely. Ford keeps it going quickly. Across to the right. Revan now. Chance again to run at Sharrock. Goes on the outside of him. Drives on the cross. Falls from Mullin. Back to goal. Revan again. Has to go out of the box. Ford on the right. Fowle wants it chipped in. Ford goes to Revan instead. Another chance take on Sharrock as Edwards comes at him. Oh, Revan too easily swings it in. It's blocked. Mendy shouting for handball. It wasn't. Smith at the near post got down and managed to get the inside of his leg to it. Brunt then surging forwards, runs into trouble, and the ball goes through to the keeper.
Yeah, Revan's been so threatening out on this right-hand side. He's got past his man a number of times. Just that final ball into the box just hasn't quite been there. Just again then hitting that first man, not quite finding the feet of Paul Mullin or Mo Fowle.
He's definitely more comfortable on the left, crossing with his left. He's done it a couple of times from our corners. He's just opened up his body and put the in-swinger in. You know, he is comfortable left and right, but I think the quality on his right is just a little bit lower. He just can't quite pick out that man on this side of the pitch.
Vale moving around at the back. Lowe has dropped into the back three to split them up, and he helps it on. Ball pinged forwards. And Wrexham in midfield work hard, do well, win it back. Mendy goes back to Brunt. James now driving forwards again, clips over the top. Nice idea looking for Mullin, but he's picked out Hennigan. And Hennigan feeds it forwards, and now Lowe will start the counter-attack. Chislett on the centre spot, feeds the ball forwards. Tully working it across, looking for the pace of Edwards, but it's good work. Aaron James beats him to it. And as he knocked it off his man, no, Phil Parkinson not impressed. Throw in about 30 yards out, taken quickly. Smith bounced awkwardly for him, don't think he expected that. But they managed to shift it across to Deborah on the right-hand side. Benicio offers, but Port Vale want to probe and work it around from the back and pull Wrexham around, make those gaps in the middle of the pitch. Out wide to Chislett. Edwards now on the right, or left rather. Aaron James really hassling him into a mistake. Well played.
Yeah, he does good right. Get his arm in the back. Don't let him turn on you. Watch the ball. Don't watch the body feints. Just rushes him into trying to do a trick and rolls out of play for a Wrexham throw.
Yeah, Aaron James, really impresses me. I've got to say, he's done really, really well. Lowe stabbing it forwards, cute little flick on, and now Cisnet working across, a shooting opportunity for Tolaj. Hits this, good save, Howard at the near post. It's having a cracking game, Mark Howard. He might be 97, but he still knows how to keep goal. Real chance that though. Again, good build-up play by Port Vale.
Yeah, when they do go into that middle patch just behind Matty James in there, where they can link a little bit of quick play, they have 2 or 3 runners past the ball that they can just slide in. Just haven't quite got it right yet to get a decent shot. Good shot there, but Mark Howard up to the task.
Smith wins a big header and puts it down the flank. And now once more, Port Vale looking to go around outside. This time James is beaten, but Cleworth comes across to help, knocks it behind. And the decision goes Wrexham's way. There was a coming together miles off the ball there between Fowle and Smith. Not sure if it was accidental or not. They don't seem to be having any afters, really. Goal kick will be taken. Remember, Smith, of course, early on was getting in Fowle's head and went to ground asking for a punishment. Fowle seems to be just complaining to the linesman about something there. Now they're having a right scrap looking for the ball, and Fowle is penalised. Free kick. Just wants to be careful, Fowle, I think. Smith was cute there and just grabbed his ankle as he walked past, hoping to draw maybe a little retaliatory kick. Fowle ignored it. But yeah, needs to be careful as Mullin now. One-man attempt to press is bypassed, although Benicio's gone down after releasing the ball.
Bit of cramp, I think.
Yeah, I think it, yeah. Ooh, he's running like his legs come off. Let's see how he does. As the ball is switched across to Deborah, and Benicio's trying to offer. He's He's like a baby deer. He's just like stumbling around. He is low on the halfway line, rolling it into the edge of the area. Cleworth sees it back to Howard. I think back to that game at Bromley where he came on for Rob Lainton and was criticised, Howard, for not dealing with the ball over the top, not come out quickly enough. I mean, I've got it for my money. I felt it was more the centre-backs letting the ball come through and they should have come around the back and dealt with it. But Howard got criticism from a lot of people for that. And the suggestion, he's come off the bench and he's not ready. Well, look at this. He looks excellent, doesn't he? As Aaron James accelerates well forwards, but doesn't win it. Handball given against Wrexham as Port Vale tries to break.
I think your mate the dog gave that one. He was down behind the linesman. He was staring at the linesman. Linesman gave it. Handball.
He's no friend of mine. What's that film called? All Dogs Go to Heaven. I can think of an exception. I want to keep this going now. I want to turn this into a thing. It is that on the halfway line. Again, Wrexham just looking to keep it compact. We got just over a quarter of an hour left. But again, they find space in the channel and Lewis Brunt can't win it. Luckily for Wrexham, Mendy's done well. Good covering run. And he drills over the top. Henneken gets there ahead of Vale and finds Benicio. Seems to have run off the cramp now. And now in midfield, it's Chislett. He's been very lively since he's come on, floating around in central areas. Benicio goes for the Hollywood ball.
And cramped.
Yes, exactly.
That's what.
Now this could be a diplomatic cramp after the Hollywood ball, which
didn't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, cramp.
Hollywood ball landed in San Francisco. 2 more substitutes to come on for Port Vale. So they're going to bring on Connor Grant and Rico Richards. You know, I suspect that Benicio might be one of the players coming off. And he is. Wrexham are all coming across to take on Liquid and Instruction. Close to seeing this game out. And the other change is going to be Hackford up front. So 5 subs used now by Port Vale as they try to force the most meaningless penalty shootout in the history of football. And looking ready to resume. Diamond Edwards is on the left now of that front 3 and Rico Richards on the right. Tallage in the middle. Low and Chislett in midfield. Ball knocked long. Hennigan's winning everything in the air now against Vale. Cleworth does well to win that one though. Josh Adam just nicks it on and Hennigan comes through Vale to win it again. Good header by Brunt. Vale stretching. Tries to find a teammate and Wrexham is scrapping. And Vale's done well there to win the ball back. On the right hand side now Revan looked for a moment like he'd seen a gap to burst between 2 players, but he checks out of that. And Wrexham moving it around the back once more. Brunt beats 1 man, beats 2 with a lovely change of direction, surging through the middle, tremendous. There's feeds it across to Ford. Revan's available down the flank. Ford comes back inside though. I got to be honest, with both strikers on the edge of the box, I'd have been tempted to use Revan and see if he could have delivered, because he had the fullback isolated. Wrexham has shifted to the other side. Mendy back to the halfway line. Revan's constantly on his toes, looking like he's about to sprint, and as the diagonal comes in, he has to challenge in the air instead, beaten to it. He picks it up again though, and comes inside, snappy pass to Vale, who takes it well. Vale, nice little layoff, Ford now on the right hand side. Good movement down the right by Revan to offer again. Robust challenge on him, knocks him to the ground by Smith, and Port Vale win it back. Can they bring it forward still? It's Grant, who's now on left hand side. He'll be the one Revan's taking on now.
Yeah, I just think I like Wrexham to have just kept the ball a little bit. You know, don't have to go and score another goal. And certainly Port Vale on top the last 10 minutes. Just keep the ball and just keep it away from them, just for a little bit to take that sting and that uplift that they've had out of the game.
Well, here are Port Vale in possession. Grant on the left hand side cuts in, goes back. Wrexham with everyone back in their own half now. That mid block not that much distance between the strikers and the defenders, as Wrexham trying to just keep it tight. Challenge Port Vale to try and play a difficult ball over the top. That's a nice move though, and Chislett's gone right back at the fence, right hand side, drills in across. Brunt gets a good firm foot to it. Mendy lays it off, and now Adam will look to break away. Feeds it down the flank. Mullin knocks it off Deborah, and it goes out for the throw. We've got 12 minutes left plus added time. Wrexham 1-0 up thanks to Max Cleworth. I'm just looking to close off a second consecutive perfect group stage in this competition. Short throw comes back to Brunt. He hooks it down the line. Hennigan again gets it clear. Port Vale wanted a free kick against James for high kicking, but they got the ball, so the referee plays on. Grant now on the left. Feeds it down the flank. Edwards trying to take on Aaron James, and he does well. Prodded forwards by Lowe to the edge of the area, but Adam intercepts her now. Can Wrexham break? Mullin in the centre circle. Port Vale have got players coming back quicker than Wrexham are coming forwards. Mullin on his right foot tries to use the pace of Rev and just under headset, and Grant gets back to intercept.
Yeah, you could see the idea he was going for. He didn't have much else to sort of hit in that situation. I think Mo Fowle's run sort of wasn't really on for that ball over the top.
Yeah, and he illustrated how slowly we were getting up to support, because let's be honest, I think we're in game management mode now. That Mullin opens his body up, looks to the right, there's no one there. And of course, with his pace, Revan can try and make something from that deep position, but he was asking a lot. Smith knocks it forward, good header by Cleworth. It's given away by Aaron James though, low, 35 yards out. Wrexham with everyone but Mullin behind the ball. He pulls it square, works it on to the right-hand side. Now then, Wrexham having to defend on the edge of the box. Good foot in by Mendy, puts it behind for a corner. Wrexham got 2 more subs ready, although they walk away from the sideline when they see it's a corner. Wrexham don't want to make any changes just yet. Harry Ashfield and Ollie Rathbone are the players getting ready to come on. Short corner. And Port Vale have a chance to deliver. That's a good block again though. Mullin back there doing that hard work. Throw in. And now Wrexham are wanting to make that change. Good to see a bit more of Ashfield. I just think he's so exciting. So he is coming on for Mo Fowle.
Is he going to go up front just off Mullin maybe?
Yeah. I mean, he played there with good effect in the first game of this group stage. As Ollie Rathbone is coming on for Josh Adam.
It's good still to see that despite bringing all these players into this football club, there is still a pathway for the likes of your Cleworths. They've got to be good. That is fine. We've got good players. They've just got to be given opportunity at times, and this is perfect for them to come out, show what they can do, and really, they're training regularly with the first team. They're making numbers up for the bench, and then they're getting their opportunities in this tournament. I think it's really important that the pathway continues.
Long throw by Deborah, and the ball's bouncing around in Wrexham's box and goes in. Well, maybe should have dealt with that straight after the substitution. We didn't make the change for the corner for fear of messing up our marking, but we made it when the ball went out for a throw, and Rico Richards, just off the bench, lashes an excellent finish in after we missed a couple of opportunities to get the ball clear, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's not great defending. I think it's Brunt's just underneath the long throw, and then we've not cleared our lines one bit, and it falls to Rico Richards, and he just shifts the ball really quickly, smashes it in the bottom corner. Really nice tidy finish.
Well, as Port Vale have been pushing on better in the latter stages, and now they'll be pushing on for a winner as Howard gets the ball clear. Nothing he could do about that. It was a great finish into the bottom left corner as Ashfield does really well to turn his man and drive down the line. Smith with a challenge, but Ashfield keeps going. Great work by Ashfield. That, and now Ford feeds in Mullin. Mullin back to Ashfield on the right. Again, Wrexham aren't getting many men forwards, but Ford goes driving down the line. Edwards pushes him over. He doesn't get the free kick. I thought he might do because of the way Edwards hooked his arm around him, but Decision not given. I guess is on the blind side of the linesman, who's of course further down the line, as Wrexham fight to win it back from the short throw. Clearance only finds Aaron James. Revan now feeds it back into midfield. Matty James squares it. Well, you might get that chance for Mullins to take a penalty in the shootout now, after all. We are 6.5 minutes away from that eventuality. Ford stands it over the top. That's a good ball. The flag goes up though against Revan. Tight call, but probably just about right, I think.
Yeah, pretty much in line with it when he does play it. Revan's just gone a slightly early. But the rotation there of Ford moving out to this wing-back role and Seb Revan rolling inside to make that run.
Yeah, Wrexham responding well to conceding that equaliser, but now here's Chislett working out wide. Deborah on the charge down the right-hand side, looking to barge Rathbone off the ball. Chislett back into his own half. 85th minute, 1-1 here at Vale Park. Last time Wrexham played here, it was a draw, a 1-1 draw, and it went to penalties and Wrexham won. And then got relegated. What hope we had then when we knocked a higher division team out of the cup. But it didn't last. Ball around the corner. Nice touch by Edwards, and now Chisnett's trying to break down the left, but Wrexham have got players there to block him off. He's on the wing now. Edwards can pull it back inside, decides to run past Ashfield. That's good work by him. Ashfield has to make sure not to foul him as he gets in the box. Hits the goal line. He's forced away from Aaron James and missed controls, and it goes out for the goal kick. Yeah, that attendance 1,837. 505 from Wrexham. Fair play.
Well played.
Yeah.
Fair play to you.
They're surrounded by adverts in the away end as they blocked off all the seats. Big canvas adverts. But Wrexham, yeah, fair play. It's a brilliant turnout for the Wrexham fans. Now then, they got 4.5 minutes left to watch to see whether we can improve in this 1-1 scoreline. Ball long, looking down the right-hand side. Brunt being backed into. It's Talais, works it into midfield. And now Chisler's got a bit of space to drive forwards from about 40 yards out. Works it wide. Grant sweeps in the cross. It's Aaron James helping it into the goal mouth. Cleworth again does well to head it clear. And it's Rico Richards doing really well, retrieving the ball, squaring it to Chislett. Fans tell him to shoot. He's 25 yards out. He feeds it in, looks for the return ball, runs into trouble. Port Vale wants a free kick, but he ran straight into the back of Matty James. He stayed down, and the ref has stopped play. But yeah, for my money, he just looked for the return pass and ran straight into James. I don't think he had much chance to get out of the way.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing in that. James just covered down round the 6-yard line there and just pulled up a little bit. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he's been cramping up for the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Haven't really seen him too much in this second half, have we, on the ball? And we've not really had any real possession in this second half. We've been more from our shape and breaking. Haven't really seen the ball go through him at all in this second half. And the same for Josh Adam on that left-hand side.
Ball balled out by Howard. Helped down the line. Rathbone, nice little turn outside to try and get a run at his man. He's got 3 players ahead of him, prods it forwards. Good stretch by Ashfield and a good return ball. Rathbone breaking into the box, left-hand side, runs into the challenger, Deborah. And the ball's chipped clear to the halfway line. Cleworth is determined to challenge for that, and in the end commits a foul. Having committed himself like that, I think he had to stop the game one way or the other.
Yeah, well, it can't happen. We've got 3 centre-halves stood next to one striker, and he just picks it up on his chest. One of you's got to go tight and just stand in front of him. Don't let him. It's too easy. It's for him to bring it down and bring his mates into play.
James just won a challenge and is hopping around with his hand on his hamstring. Let's hope he's okay.
He felt it straight away. I was just a bit concerned he was going to go down. Looks to be jogging on all right now, but yeah, as soon as he made that, it was a really nice challenge actually, and then he just pulled up straight away, but he seems to be moving okay.
I'd like to think he's experienced enough to know that he needs to ask to come off if that's anything other than a twinge or a bit of cramp. Here's Smith now carrying it into the Wrexham half. Works it out wide. Chisler's been everywhere since he's come on. That's a good tackle by Revan though. But Chisler wins it back off him. Revan still hassling him, but he digs out a good ball to Lowe. Good movement ahead of him. but his pass is intercepted well by Cleworth. Wrexham battling in midfield. Ashfield's made a good impression, feeds it to Mullin deep in his own half. Rathbone now looks wide and decides no, I'm safer to go back to Howard. Howard knocks it long. Ashfield in the air, hasn't got much chance against Hennigan. Well, having said that, Hennigan didn't get much distance on either of his headers because Ashfield got underneath him and hassled him, but Chislett's there again. Ball's fed forwards and Mendy's trying to help out, then Rathbone is brought down, legged over. Looks to be the Port Vale player who's come off worst. So free kick to Wrexham, 10 yards short of the half-iron left-hand side, and the referee says its Hart can carry on. The less rhythmic version of Celine Dion's Titanic classic, of course. Howard knocks it long and right-footed. Grant can let that go through for the throw-in. I haven't mentioned Celine Dion much in commentary over the years. I'm going to be honest with you.
She doesn't get much game time.
She doesn't.
No,
that's it, innit? Yeah.
She doesn't deserve it.
I think she's
poor left back.
Unregistered for the league, isn't she? Grant with the throw-in. We're into the last minutes. It was Port Vale fans just for a second concerned as they pass around at the back, but there was no danger, and Deborah's gone back now to his goalkeeper. Drives it long and right-footed, Amos. Brunt wins the header, but it drops to low in the middle of the pitch. He's been good in the second half as well, really been holding things together in the middle of the pitch. Grant swings it in, 4 minutes of added time. It's not a bad cross, Toller takes it in the chest. Good foot in by Cleworth. Not the best clearance though. Looking for Ashfield, doesn't find him, and now here is Edwards, edge of the box, pulls the shot well off target, and it's a goal kick to Wrexham.
Well, Matty James is trying to manage his way through these last 4 minutes. He's been hobbling about in front. I think we've made all our substitutions though, haven't we? So we've got Howard as one.
Oh, Howard, Mullin,
Ashfield,
Rathbone, Revan, and Ashfield. Yeah, you're right.
So
yeah.
All 5 made, so he's going to have to stay on.
Long kick, Mullin's a target. Again, Hennigan heads it away comprehensively. Brunt wins his header. He's had a good game at the back as well. And it's on the left-hand side. Mendy plays the pass. Mullin's miles offside. And to be fair to the linesman, the law makes him look stupid there because he has to wait till Mullin touches it before putting his flag up. The Port Vale fans were going crazy.
Yeah, I think Paul Mullins just turned around to Jacob Mendy and said, do it a bit quicker. We're just a bit too slow when we get on that ball in those little bits of situations. Just not quite getting the ball out of feet into the next man quick enough, and it's just giving Port Vale that extra opportunity to get a touch closer to us and win that ball back.
Here's Revan, unlucky tries to turn, but good tackle by Grant, and now again it's Edwards breaking down the left-hand side. Good foot in on recovery by Revan. I think the referee's actually penalised Edwards, perhaps a bit harshly.
I think we poked it onto his back and it went out.
I see. Yeah,
so it's our throw.
Well, the applause is because Nathan Smith, who is an absolute club legend, but apparently, I think I was told by the local media, Darren Moore just doesn't fancy him. He's only made one sub-appearance before today this season. But he's just been named man of the match, and the Wrexham fans, the Port Vale fans, absolutely thrilled of that. It is winning another header as well. There's now on the right-hand side, Ford sets himself. Edwards is coming. Ford didn't get the shout. Goes Wrexham's way in midfield.
Yeah, just Ford just dilly-dallying a bit on that ball, just not hearing that man-on shout quick enough. When he can no one's sort of dropping in though to get on that ball.
Revan with the throw. Port Vale fans not happy where he's taking it from. He finds Ashfield, who tries to turn away from Grant, but Port Vale have a player following up, and as a result they can clear. Good header back into the Port Vale half, Aaron James, and a missed kick allows Rathbone to come driving through the middle and play a clever little angle ball. Mendy, chance to cross, 2 strikers in the middle. He hits the first defender. Deborah said it well.
He's got to fire it first time. The space is there to just whazz it across the box, but he takes a touch, which then Mullin has to readjust, Ashfield has to readjust, and the defenders can all get in line and block the cross.
Here's Mendy with another chance now, taking on his man. Goes round outside, hits the goal line and scrambles in a cross that the keeper takes comfortably. There's a gasp from the fans, but I think he had it under control quite a long time as he slid on the pitch, and it made it look like he'd had to go further than he had to win it. So Matty James stepping up, puts pressure on and forces Lowe to go back into his own half. 30 seconds between us and penalties. As the ball is carried forwards by Smith. Chislett now left-hand side, 20 yards out. Chips it in, hits forward. And now here is Rathbone. Mendy's breaking forwards. He's shown good energy, Mendy, getting forwards 3 times late in this game. Rathbone is carrying it forwards himself, though, driving down the left channel. He cuts back on his right foot. There's lots of space in midfield. Maybe he could have played that to James a bit earlier as the final whistle goes, and we'll get penalties. Well,
Matty James has been running around the last 5 minutes with his, when you put like cramp, you push your toe up towards your face. He's been running around on his heels, trying to not get cramp in his hamstrings. He's managed to manage his way through it, though.
Yep, fair play to him. And he may be asked to take a penalty as well now on his one good leg. Let's see how he goes. It's, you'd be the manager of a team who've won the penalty shootout at Wembley.
Yeah.
And, are you in the school of know beforehand who's taking them, or is it who fancies it?
We took penalties the day before, as you do. The lads that thought they might be taking penalties would take them. But really, you don't really know who's going to be on the pitch at that time. So I went on and I said, who fancies it to start with? Obviously, we had players that had taken penalties in the season, Kev Thornton, etc. So they were always going to be up there. And then you get the likes of Danny Wright, striker. Yes, I'll have one. Sis, I'll take the first one. And then I had Westy come up to me and go, I'll have one. And I was trying to look the other way as he was saying, I'll take one. And I was like, yeah, anybody else want one? Anyone? And Westy, I was like, are you sure you want one? He's like, I'm not coming to Wembley and not taking a penalty. Yeah. So I was like, right. And I was thinking as well beforehand, I wanted my more, because it's such a big occasion, this isn't quite as big, but I want my more experienced players to take them. Because if it doesn't happen for us and a younger one misses, it could really bother their careers. But the lads that have a bit of experience have been there and done it, probably a little bit more experience to handle that occasion, if you like. And so I went with Westy and then Johnny Hunt as well. And sometimes it goes for you, sometimes it doesn't. It was out of our hands. We should have won it in normal time anyway. We should have won it in extra time anyway. And then I thought, oh no, it's just gone to pens. But thankfully, the lads were brilliant. The keeper dived the same way. And Maxie came to me before and said, I know where Brodie's going, don't worry Gaffer, I've got this. And I'm like, really? And he was like, yeah, he's going to my right and I'll save it. Evidently he put it over the bar and put it into row M, so that's preferable. But yeah, it just was one of those days, wasn't it? One of those things. And yeah, basically you just want people to be confident. Go up, don't change your mind, go and put your foot through it and hit one side, and if the keeper guesses right, he guesses right. If not, so be it.
And of course, you've got recent experience with scoring in a penalty shootout too, Mia. So, we've got everything covered.
Which way did you go?
Middle.
Oh, boring hell. Keepers always dive, though, don't they?
Keepers always dive. Follow the stats. That's what I say.
What is it? Top half of the goal. It's something like 80% chance of it scoring or something like that, isn't it? Which is why when people moan about someone putting the ball over the bar, well, to be fair, it's because they're trying to, like you say, follow the stats, aren't they?
Yeah, I definitely didn't have that one where you wait for the keeper to go. Now, I couldn't have done that. I'd have fell over. Do you know what I mean? Doing that. I just ran up and thought, right, I always went to the keeper's right, so my left. I always thought I felt I hit a better ball as I hit through it and across my body. And so I always went that way. And then I thought, after 6 or 7 of them in that season that we did so well, I might have to change it. Somebody might have had a look. Yeah. And so then I went the other way, and you can tell after the celebration I went the other way. Jim Whitley comes over like with shock, horror, because we used to take penalties together, and he was like, you always go that way and you've changed.
Well, we are going to be taking penalties at the empty end of the ground rather than the Wrexham fans' end. Well, I guess Port Vale
have won it and gone to an empty fans.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. If you can't take it in front of 500 people, you're not going to take it in the final at Wembley, are you, in front of 40,000? That
is very, very true. Absolutely. So, yeah, we're at the empty end. And Vale are going to go first as well. And the stats say that you got something like a 2 in 3 chance, isn't it, of winning a shootout if you go first, something like that, apparently. So, I just heard the guy behind summing it up. It's a pointless penalty shootout in front of absolutely no one. That is 100% correct.
Yeah. Read the room, chaps.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Tollar's going to take the first one. Mark Howard's taking his time, as you would, just to put the pressure on him. In front of nearly 2,000 people. Yeah, I know. So here we go. I think the first penalty shootout I think we've had under Robin Ryan's ownership. Tollar's gets to go ahead. And he drills it into the top right corner. I'm going to have to shout at a couple of blokes here, sorry.
Oi, move! Oi! Move! Oi! Shift!
Shift! So that's Paul Mullen to take the next penalty.
They have moved, evidently.
They
everyone.
have moved, yeah. They saw what I did to that dog. In case you haven't been listening earlier, I have a rivalry with the mascot. I didn't do anything to a dog.
Boomer.
Yeah. Right, Mullen to take the penalty then. Straight run up. He steps up and scores. Sends the keeper the wrong way. And that is just what we want to see, isn't it? We got something out of this, after all.
Yeah, Paul Mullen gets his goal, if you count them. Or,
Yeah.
as a striker, I'm sure you always do.
Oh, he will, won't he? I'm sure.
I counted him in training.
But great penalty, great exexecution.
He nailed that, didn't he?
I'm sure we went to a penalty shootout in one of these games last season, Mark. I can't remember which one. I'm sure. Did we go out from the penalty shootout?
I thought we lost 3-2, didn't we? I could be
I
wrong.
might be wrong.
I'm often wrong. Is that Hennigan taking that? Howard stands tall. Long run up. He steps up. Drills it right foot in the bottom corner. Howard went the right way for that. But it was really well struck and he couldn't quite reach it.
I think that was low, was it?
Yeah, you're right. Low, isn't it? Yeah, beg your pardon. So Ford now to take the penalty. 2-1 to Port Vale. All penalties scored so far. Ford slowly wandering up. Spots it up. Amos swinging his arms around, trying to put him off. Ford with quite a short run up. He steps up. Saved. Wasn't the best directed penalty, really went left, but was pretty down the middle, and Amos is able to save it pretty comfortably. So Port Vale have the advantage, 2-1 after 2 rounds of penalties. Yeah, he just didn't make the right contact stall, did he? And so now it's going to be Connor Grant to take the penalty. Grant spots it up very carefully. Howard is ready. Ref gives the go ahead. Grant on the edge of his area, steps up left-footed. Oh, good penalty.
Good pen.
Just tucks it inside the right post.
No chance. Right inside that post.
I mean, he got fairly close because, you know, good effort, but like I said, just over halfway up, right inside the post, and there's really very little chance of saving them. Now
Wigan in the Carabao Cup.
Of course, yeah. That's
Last
the one.
season.
Yeah.
Knew it.
Darn. Facts, I hate them. Here's Revan then. And he's got a big run up. He's in a hurry to take it as well. He comes charging in. And it's saved. Amos goes down. To be fair to Revan, it was struck pretty well in the bottom right corner. But it's saved. And so as a consequence, 3-1 up. And Port Vale will know that if they score this penalty, that's the end of that story.
Good save.
It was, wasn't it? Great piece of keeping.
Not as powerful as he'd have hoped, but it was in the corner. Guessed right twice.
So Richards to give Port Vale victory, which will mean absolutely nothing. Long run up, steps up, and he's saved. Mark Howard low to his right, pushes it round the post. It was, again, decent in the corner.
Strong right hand. Just got one hand to it.
And up steps Ollie Rathbone. Again, he's going to have to score to keep Wrexham alive. Right-footed. legs wide apart, steps up, and a save. Good save by Amos. And the Port Vale players almost tentatively run forwards in celebration, either because they hadn't done their maths right or because they realise it actually doesn't mean anything. But Wrexham lose on penalties, but we finish top of the group anyway. And yeah, it was a good day for Ben Amos with 3 penalty saves, but nonetheless it's the draw that matters for us. The extra point Port Vale get means that we finish above them on goal difference. Wrexham in a pretty even game, taking the lead early in the second half. Cleworth driving the ball home after Budverson flicked the ball on from a corner by Anthony Ford, and then Port Vale getting an 82nd minute equaliser. Rico Richards ripping it in. To be fair, for the last 25 minutes of the game, Port Vale put Wrexham under a lot of pressure. Maybe the headline from Wrexham, though, is that Will Boyle was injured before the match and couldn't play. We then lost Luke Bolton to an injury early in the game. And then the fact that Callum Burton didn't come out for the second half implies that we picked up 3 injuries, which is a hell of a blow in what is a dead rubber. But we are through. We have got a home draw, and I guess we should be glad about that.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the only positives really you can take. I mean, like you say, Mark, 3 possible injuries from a night where that's the one thing you're probably saying let's try our best not to get, even though it's very much out of control at the most of the times. But I thought, a few decent performances in there. I thought Max again looked strong. Obviously not easy to come in when you're not expecting to start. With the armband on as well tonight, another goal for him. They'll be really, really pleased with that. But yeah, it was always going to be a bit of a weird game. Fair play to the 500 odd Wrexham fans who've travelled down, and I think the majority of them stayed for the penalty shootout as well. There wasn't too many heading for the exit on the full-time whistle, so fair play to them, making a good amount of noise again tonight, and again something to build on. More minutes in the legs, and now we just look to Saturday back in the league.
Yeah, and credit to Port Vale as well. I thought second half they were really good. They were really bright. I didn't think we ever had in that second half any control over the ball and domination, especially in this half of the pitch. It just seemed to be that fairly quick possession and then turned over, and then they were back on us. But I thought they played some really slick stuff right in between us and through us, and if not for a couple of late tackles and challenges, it could have been worse for us. But yeah, again, out of a game that doesn't really mean anything. I thought Brunt was okay. I thought Brunt was good. Seb Revan was electric at times down this side. I would prefer him on the left-hand side. And again, minutes in the legs for Matty James and Bodvarsson and Mo Farl, all these people that need game time, because we're going to need them in this next run-up, all the way up to Christmas and beyond. So, yeah, I think they'll look at it, put it to bed. Let's look to Stockport now, and that's the important one. If we can go there and get something out of the game, that'll be a big bonus for us.
And Mullin scored his penalty. We were talking about the value of hitting the net. However he managed to do it, that's good news. Comprehensive penalty, that. Yeah,
it was a really well executed penalty. You sort of expect those ones from Paul Mullin. Now we've seen him do it a number of times where he sort of just smashes it, and it sort of takes.
He's the only one to score.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
very true. I mean, he shows his quality in that part of the pitch again. And I mean, I don't think have we had a penalty so far this season.
I want to say no. I can't remember.
We haven't had a pen.
No. So that's good for him to obviously get one in a obviously in a game that like we said means a little less. So maybe we get one on Saturday. He might have that little spring in his step in taking that. You don't know, but yeah, for the rest of the lads who've missed theirs tonight, they'll probably be disappointed with that. But it's a difficult one to sort of look on and take much from. But yeah, I think Phil Parkinson will be just looking towards Saturday now, all focus back on the league.
Yeah, it's we need to bring Gary Bennett back into the team, who came to Wrexham, was on penalties straight away, missed his first one at York, was taken off penalties, and when he was put back onto penalties, he started winning them, started running and diving and doing all the fantastic stuff. We need to bring him back in and get those penalties. Is that lad trying to mock us because we lost a penalty shoot?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's good.
That's really funny. Fair play.
You've got to respect it, haven't you? I mean, at all levels.
Yeah.
But the way we play wide, ball out wide, crossing the box, it doesn't lend itself to getting penalties. It doesn't have. We don't have those runners, those dribblers that get into the box, take people on, and jink and side. So we don't get penalties because of off the back of that. We would get a penalty more off a cross on a hand, or somebody pushing in the box or whatever from a set piece. So that's where me, Elliot Lee, get in and around the box and play those little balls around, and that leads to more people dribbling in the box, if you like, to create those penalties.
Absolutely. Well, that should be the way we take penalties. Maybe we shouldn't. Who knows? Oh dear. Right, I'm off to chase those two little lads and give them a beating in the car park. I can't. I've said that in public now, haven't I? I've implied I did something awful to the mascot. Now this.
I'm going to see if the dog's all right.
Well, again, I reiterate, it was a mascot, not a real dog. I'd never hurt a dog, only people. Okay, and I've got court orders that prove that. Right, I think we should probably go before I get into even more hot water. On a way, gonna get arrested on my birthday.
Happy birthday, Mark.
Oh yeah.
Big happy birthday to Mark, because he's done well not
kept
to mention
it quiet,
it to
hasn't
this
he?
point.
I wasn't even going to them, but I thought it might be useful in a plea bargain. So we'll see how it goes.
You got a Max Clueworth goal. You got to be happy with that.
I did. I got to watch the most pointless penalty shoot of all time in an empty stadium. Woohoo! Fantastic, isn't it? Eh? And they said I don't know how to have a good time. Well, with the final score of Port Vale 1, Wrexham 1, Wrexham losing 3-1 on penalties, we've been Mark Griffiths, Mia Roberts and Andy Morrell from Wrexham AFC. Thank you very much.